A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch-Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the Buck Rogers to my John Carter of Mars, it's John Campbell.
Gargoni, we've been at this for 100 episodes.
100 episodes. Can you believe it?
They said it would never happen. They said, no way these guys do 100.
They said, you can't do 100. I'm wanted in 12 star systems with the death penalty. And we said, chop your arms off, Ponda Baba. Get out of here.
And here we are for our 100th episode. Spectacular.
Yeah, and I start the episode without even saying any Star Wars character names.
Mm-hmm.
Because, honestly, we're talking about 3 issues today. We're talking about the Star Wars annuals done by Marvel Comics. Now, we've been sort of skipping over these as we've been moving our way through the original Marvel Star Wars comics.
I want to say incidentally, mostly because Marvel Unlimited has them in their own thing, so they didn't come up when we were going through the series. Is most of the reason why this happened, I think. But
also, as is the tradition with annuals, they are sort of disconnected from everything else in ways that will become obvious as we talk about them today. But we are talking about Marvel Star Wars Annuals 1, 2, and 3, released in January of 79, 82, and 83, respectively.
They're all January, though.
Yes, they're all January. So they are, in fact, the start of the year, the annual.
Yeah.
The creative teams, we'll talk as we go through, because one of the reasons we're doing this episode like this king-sized 100th episode, if you will.
King-sized episode!
Is because these 3 annuals are so indicative of the evolution we've seen in this comic over our entire existence as a show and our coverage of these Marvel Star Wars comics. We
very much so.
With a story that could very easily be a Buck Rogers story, go into a story that could very easily be a John Carter of Mars story, and finally we end with a story that is, God forbid, a Star Wars story.
I will say, you were talking about this, that we sort of end on a high note, and I would be like, well, really by default, like it really is just like, yeah, because it's the only one that remotely feels like a Star Wars story. The other 2 are just sort of generic space opera to a certain extent. And the fact, I will say, they also get easier to read because we start with Claremont, and good Lord.
It's a downhill slope from Claremont, yes.
Once again, you got to prepare yourself to read Claremont, because the density of the Claremont prose.
Yeah, we go from Claremont to Michelini to Joe Duffy.
Yeah, and I think with each of those, we also get, as we talked about, those are indicative of the time, of the writer's styles, of the eras of this comic. And as we go forward, it is kind of like each one gets has a looser grip on the wheel in a good way, right? Like it's just like, okay, they're trusting the art more, and they're telling they're trusting the propulsion of the story. Although we'll talk about whether or not Joe Duffy should have trusted the art, particularly on that third one, but we'll get there.
Because, let's start, as we always do, with the cover of this first issue. And, boy, this is just Luke Skywalker fighting some He-Man bad guys.
I mean, it definitely takes you back in our run of the show, right, to a time when they're just like, right, you guys don't really know too much about what the world of Star Wars is, and we're making up stuff that you would never see in Star Wars.
I'm not saying you wouldn't see big furry guys in Star Wars. One of our favorite Star Wars guys is a big furry guy.
No. But the Catman of this cover, in this armor, in their He-Man costumes, there would be maybe in concept cat warrior people, but they wouldn't look like this.
Let's see. The cat people in Star Wars are the Zygarians, I want to say.
Hey man, you would know more than I do. I know there are
They're
cats.
those like slaver folk we saw in the Clone Wars TV show that Anakin had like a weird like hate boner for their queen.
Oh yeah, yeah, right, yeah.
I think they've shown up in a couple of other things, but yeah, they're very much the cat people of Star Wars.
There's a whole novel series about them, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yes, here we just have some cat folk lunging at Luke. Luke with his, I guess, okay, we don't know much about Star Wars as of this period. So, like, is the assumption that the, like, gleam cross line of the lightsaber taken from the original Star Wars poster, is that, like, supposed to be this iconic image that is part of Star Wars?
I think so. That's what I took this cover to be.
And then we also have a gargoyle lady. We'll get to her.
Oh, yeah. By the way, this thing is lousy with creatures.
This is I mean, we're going to open up right away. I mean, we're in Star Wars. One of the most iconic things about Star Wars, the first movie, is that cantina scene, right? That scene where you're dunked into an alien world and everyone is looking at this movie screen going like, my God, there's so many shapes and puppets and weirdos and alien creatures. I don't know how to even like process this.
Right.
And this issue is trying to sort of affect the same thing because we're dropped right away into a market square as we get Chris Claremont as our guest writer, Mike Vosberg and Steve Lealoa as our artists, John Costanza as our letterer, Bob Sharon as our colorist, Archie Goodwin on our edits, and the only consistent name through all three of these issues, Jim Shooter as our
And you'll watch as he takes over here because he's consulting editor on his way to being editor-in-chief, though. But yeah, I mean, immediately, I will say, and there's even more examples of this as you go through, but I was just like, oh boy, Claremont, because the amount of words immediately.
So the term purple prose is used to describe particularly flowery language used in comic books or literature, right? The fact that the caption boxes here start colored purple really tickled my fancy.
Yeah. It is very. It almost feels like all Claremont text boxes should be purple. It just appropriately so, because oh my God, he can't stop himself. And I love Claremont. But there are times I love his prose, and there are times when I'm like, okay, man, come on.
But we also have all these alien creatures all around. We've got a weird, tall Cyclops-looking guy, like Cyclops from the X-Men. We've got Seven of Nine in a big blue hat. We've got a weird potato man with long arms. We have a big blue guy with a forehead. It's all there.
I was going to say, that's Yondu's thicker cousin in the front there. But once again, that's all cool. But then, of course, we have to have Claremont going, it is a world filled with creatures.
And look, that's not going to slow down.
Thousands of worlds, yeah.
And he's describing how, like, Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie are on this planet. They're our Star Warriors, because remember when they were trying to make that a thing?
You were really trying to make that a thing. Yeah, he does. All the prose here is just like, there are aliens aplenty and thousands of worlds, but we care about 4 in particular. Oh, our heroes as we meet them.
And then there's a guy who's got a bad case of bad guy face.
Just terrible bad guy face.
Who is just like, oh, hey, I think those are the protagonists.
I know, because I just saw them. By the way, what is this over on the upper right panel here?
That is the insert that would be underneath the Comics Code Authority stamp on the front of the book.
Yeah, it's a panel in the comic.
Yeah.
It does just seem like, see all your favorite characters on NBC this fall. But yeah, so they're walking through, and they're basically just like, oh, I'm so glad I do love Luke's line earlier when he's just like, I'm glad the Millennium Falcon had to stop here. This place seems fun.
Yeah, because Luke, this is really selling Luke as like the bumpkin who hasn't really gotten out into the galaxy much.
I will say, this planet as written, I could only pronounce it as Tiran, which is, of course, a real place, although spelled differently. That was weird to me.
Comics of this era have a habit of doing this, where they'll someplace quote unquote exotic will just become the name of a thing in a comic book. They'll just spell it slightly different.
I will say that this is 1979. If you know your history,
Yeah.
Kind of a big year for Tehran.
Yeah. And look, was a certain Mr. Claremont liberal enough to try to pull attention to that? Yeah, maybe. But the way this comic goes, maybe in a bad way.
Did you ever get left-wing vibes from that guy? Biggest fucking hippie in comics, man. Anyway, so they're walking through the crowd, and yes, a guy is like, hey, I think those people are people who are wanted.
Does anything come of this?
I don't think so.
Because what happens, because what propels the story forward is what's going to happen on this next page when we get the winged lady and her cat warriors strolling through the market, and our call to action here has nothing to do with Mr. Bad Guy Face.
No, that is funny. He may, for all we know, he may actually be reporting something else. We don't actually get any dialogue from him.
But no, we're introduced here to this woman with wings on her arms, and I don't know how else to describe what's happening there. She has arms, but there are wings on them, but not like you think they are.
No, it's not. She looks like wings that should be coming out of her back, but instead they are wings that are actually growing out of her, like forearm, like attached to her arms as she's walking.
But not like a pterodactyl where you have the little hands coming out of the elbow of the wing.
I think that's the idea, but that's not how it's drawn.
Yeah, no, instead of there are human arms, and then coming out from the shoulder and down just past the elbow, there are these wide crescent-shaped skin flaps.
It's very hard to conceive how this creature would move and interact with stuff. That would be so bizarre.
Let alone fly.
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't know. But she is the Magistrix of Sky, which is what the Catman is saying. Make way for the Magistrix of Sky, and I love the purple guy to the side just going, oh! Oh my God!
John, it's not a Catman, it's a Catuman.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's way different. Although later they will just go, you mean cats? You start calling them cats for ease of conversation, I guess.
This creates a strange conflux that always happens in fantasy, which is, okay, you have animal people, and people recognize them as animal people of a stripe.
Yes.
Does that mean that those animals also exist independent of these fantasy creatures in the world?
That's a big question, right? Because, are there cats in Star Wars? Now, there are loth cats.
Yeah. So,
I knew that was coming, but are there cats?
Exists to
to
call
extent,
out small mammals.
But are there people with cats, like actual feline? I don't know, because in Star Wars we're kind of used to the idea that everything is sort of replaced by a Star Wars version of everything.
Right. We've never seen a normal dog in Star Wars, but we've seen corehounds and mastiffs, I think they're called, but they're spelled weird.
Yeah, well, everything's spelled weird.
But the Tusken hounds.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are tons of dog-like creatures in Star Wars, and there are cat-like creatures in Star Wars. But are there cats and dogs? I don't think so. I kind of don't want there to be. It'd be weird if somebody just had a golden retriever in Star Wars.
Right. So to call these guys Catumans, is always
I will just say, Claremont didn't stretch very hard his brain muscles on that one, did he?
No. What if we replace the H in human with the word cat?
Catuman. Done and done. Back to X-Men.
Born and bred to the arts of war, feline mercenaries, said to be fury incarnate, among the deadliest killers in existence.
Which is
absolutely
which is just
bonkers.
Silly when you see that they're cat people. You're just like, people. Okay.
Wearing diapers and spiky shoulder and elbow pads.
So anyway, they walk through the crowd. Leia gets knocked out of the way because, once again, clear the way. The Magistrix is coming through.
Right, but Luke bumps into her, making her spill her purse onto the ground, which then makes all the cat people go, "My God, he's stealing her purse! Kill them!"
Slay them! I love the use of the word slay.
Actually, yeah, the Magistrix is the one who gives the order to kill.
These humans have offended me, my pets. Slay them!
And then Luke, I love old comic book Luke, who just jumps straight to murder.
We talked. I know. I did. I right. Hothead, violent Luke that we used to talk about, where he is just like, die, Catman.
And he just, slices one of these things in half.
In one smooth, fluid motion, his lightsaber is in his hand. Its searing energy blade sending the lead Catuman to a well-deserved reward. All right, Claremont. I mean, this guy is just doing his job. No, man, he was part of this. Fuck him, is the Claremont attitude.
Luke slows the other two down by dropping a stall on them, and then him and Leia go running off. Meanwhile, we get this long thought bubble from the Magistress of Sky here, being like, oh, was it not clear that she was a bad guy? Well, okay, let's also set up a very complicated plot about why she's the bad guy right now in one panel.
Yeah, and it's just this whole thing about, actually, I knew who you were. You're going to lead me to Han Solo, who I actually have beef with. And she implies that something called the Long Hunt has begun.
Sure. And when the hunt is done, you will all die slowly by my hands. Did I remember that I'm a bad guy?
Yeah. Then we get this is some real funky 70s art on the next page with them running and the purple energy around them.
I like this because we have this top-down view of the city, looking down towards the ground level through these skyscrapers. And in the center of the panel, we have Luke and Leia being chased by these Catumans through this weird pink crackly bursting through the panel. It's really cool and impressionistic.
It is. I said it is very 70s. That's not necessarily it, but I just can't imagine anybody doing anything like that today. Anyway, so they're running from cat people, and then the cat people catch up with them.
Which, God, if you're with us on YouTube, look at the amount of real estate Claremont is given for his text here, and that is basically what happens, is they're running, and then the cat people catch up.
Luke tries every trick he'd ever learned. It's to run from something.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it is just it really is just he just can't help himself. He's like, no, I can't leave it. You just get the sense of Claremont going, no, it's not enough. I need to, man. I gotta type more.
But Luke gets a big old cat fist to the noggin, it looks like.
Yep.
And then, what's this? It's Chewie and Han. Chewie punches one and Han shoots another one.
Hey, everybody, your favorite characters are here.
So they bundle up Luke and get him back to the Millennium Falcon, and next we see him, even though he got punched in the head, he has a big bandage around his chest, which is the universal comic book sign for he's hurt.
Yeah. Apparently he broke some ribs when that guy hit him in the head. I don't know.
Hit him so hard the whiplash went all the way down his spine.
But he's like, hey, don't thank us. It was actually R2 and 3PO. Remember them? They're in this comic. They're the ones who figured out that something was going on.
Yeah. What do you think of Chewie's look here? We're back to Chewie being drawn weird.
Yeah. Chewie's drawn super weird, and we're also going to get some weird Han Solo face. I mean, actually, we're just going to get weird faces in general. It is a return to when I really hated the art in this book. Yeah, Chewie looks weird. All right, they don't know how to draw Chewie. We got too comfy with our more later issues where they know how to draw Chewie. Now we're back to, all right, they used to,
have no idea.
Anyway.
So, Han's like, hey, what happened in the bazaar? Oh, what's that? Someone's knocking on the door of the Millennium Falcon. Who's this? Everyone's favorite character that everyone knows clearly. Don't worry about it. It's Katya.
It's Katya. Hey, Katya, this is basically just like, check it out, Leia. It's my ex. You got any feelings about that?
What is the name of the character who ended up in the current Marvel Star Wars comics?
That is basically this character?
Yeah. Staros? What's her first name?
Yes, I know. I can see her, and it's because the whole thing in that was fun was just it's Han Solo's wife because they got married to
one time to pull a job.
Right, which I love that idea. Where is that character? Oh, Sana Staros.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool character. Actually gets developed, becomes a main character in that comic. This woman is just Pam Grier.
It is just Pam Grier. Yeah, this is drawn to look like spacey Pam Grier. Yeah, 100%.
And by the way, Marvel already has a Pam Grier character who's called Misty Knight.
She also looks exactly like Misty Knight. And actually, isn't Misty Knight's color scheme green and gold as well?
Yeah. It's immediately when this character showed up, I went like, oh, God. I mean, they did this a lot where they were just like, well, we already kind of have a character like that. So why don't we basically just use that model for this?
So yeah, Luke is awake now. And there's some weird banter between him and Leia about Katya making Leia jealous.
Yeah, I mean, just assume I hate all of that because I've always hate that in the comic. Anyway,
but we get some like, oh, by the way, Katya is tied into this whole like winged woman who was hunting us in the market, and Han and Katya are like, her? Oh no, mysterious backstory, plot things.
And then Han's like, I'm gonna go out there and handle it because I'm a man type.
So we get. So actually, apparently this Magistrix is tied into something that has to do with Han's backstory with this woman, Katya, who we learn is also a Corellian. And this is one of the earliest times that I can point to, because obviously that was in the original shooting script, but like the acknowledgement that like, oh yeah, Han is from a place called Corellia. It's never said in the movies, but it is canonized really early on.
Yes, that's right. They talk about ships being Corellian in the original movie, but they don't talk about Han being from Corellia specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this idea, but the way it's tossed in here is just like, well, what is Corellia at this point to us?
At this point, it's the same. Nothing. I mean, Coruscant doesn't even exist. Corellia barely exists. Like Tatooine is the only Tatooine. Alderaan and Dantooine are the only like named planets we have as of the first movie.
And Yavin. Never forget Yavin.
I tend to forget Yavin.
The lush green forests of Yavin, as we used to write about in this comic all the time. So it is sort of an interesting thing where like they have the whatever documents from Lucasfilm, right? And they're throwing stuff in here, but what's funny is they're throwing in these references to things that no one reading the comic knows what they are yet. So they're weird Easter eggs for things that don't actually exist in people's minds.
And same goes for like Sith Lord. Like, yeah. I guess if you're reading this comic, odds are you probably also read the novelization, the Dean Foster one.
That I actually, you know what? Maybe Corellia might be in there for all I know. I don't. I did read that years and years and years ago. Oh wait, we talking about Alan Dean Foster? That was by George Lucas, Gorgoni.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what it says in the cover of the book. How
by George Lucas? He wrote that novel himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Han's gonna go track down some guy to ask questions about, and so we see Han sneaking into a guy's bedroom.
Yep. And here's another thing we return to. Apparently, they've forgotten what the blasters look like in the movie.
Yeah, because he's got some kind of like, I don't know.
Total Flash Gordon.
I mentioned gun. Buck Rogers at the top of this episode, Buck and this Rogers, is why.
Flash Gordon. It is just, these are zap guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this guy's name is Lascar, and he's like, evening, Lascar.
But this is a guy who used to be a like low-running merchant informant type, but has like gotten up in the world, but Han hasn't forgotten, and now he's come in to call in a debt. Meanwhile, he's left Katya behind to watch after everybody else.
Time passes. And a smoke monster comes on the ship.
Okay, so yeah, now there's a demon.
Smoke monster. I do love the way Claremont's just like, and then anyway, a smoke creature comes on. You're like, wait, what?
This is some grade A late 70s. What sort of LSD were they on? Comic book, like, okay, we're going to introduce and then kill off a interesting new protagonist who maybe has ties to Han Solo's past. Within 2 pages, she'll be dead because a smoke monster will devour her soul.
Yeah, there was no plan for this comic, right? It is just like Claremont going, hey, smoke monster comes in, kills the lady.
It might sound like we're joking, but it is legitimately, this thing is a
Yeah.
Dormammu-looking monster made of smoke.
And no one has come to bargain with him.
No, he's no bargaining at all. No one, because despite the fact that Katya's got a hand on a gun while she's in bed, this thing wafts in through the vents and then literally absorbs her.
Yep.
Katya's skin, translucent, transparent, and finally fades away as her entire body is turned to smoke and absorbed by the demon.
Yep. That's fucked up.
Moving on. And then, because he did that, this smoke monster turns into Chernabog from Fantasia?
Okay, the complete changing of his look is insane. All of a sudden, he's full-blown demon.
Yeah, he goes from, like, smoky apparition that looks like a kind of monster made of cotton candy to red and black it's the big devil guy from Fantasia.
Absolutely. And then he's been sneaking around just as mist or whatever, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh shit, I'm caught."
So then he has to like tackle Luke, and then he gets counter tackled by Chewie, and then he gets shot by Leia.
Yeah. But he was smoke, he was in and out, man.
Well, maybe once he eats an interesting new protagonist, he stops being smoke, because clearly he's like a physical entity now.
It's so weird, though.
Oh, this is never explained. We should not linger on this.
No, we shouldn't. But it's just bizarre. And then Leia just shoots him, and they fight a little bit, and then Luke fucking guts him with a lightsaber. This is kill number 2 for Luke in this book.
With a crack of thunder, his lightsaber keys to life in his hand, the pure light of its energy blade sweeping up in a classic killing stroke that impales the smoke demon. The creature dies without audible sound, yet the psychic screams that echo and re-echoes in Luke's mind will stay with him till he dies.
That's a little extreme for Star Wars, isn't it?
But it's very, very standard for Claremont narration.
Oh, yeah. But it also makes me go like, you may not be the guy for this, Claremont. That's not fun in the way that, like, especially coming off of A New Hope,
John, you fun. Think, 4 years from now, when we are talking about annual number 3 of this run, that Luke Skywalker will still be haunted by the echoes of the smoke demon he killed all those years ago?
Imagine. I mean, Claremont makes this like a defining attribute of him here, man. Once again, I don't need a lot. I don't need Luke being like, I have taken the life of something. It's just like, no. Number one, it's a demon. Die. He didn't kill like a person in battle. This thing must die.
The term demon used in Star Wars rubs me the wrong way, right? Because this creature is introduced in a way that's like, so this is just magic.
100%.
And like, look,
there's no other way to read this.
I'll accept Star Wars magic. Like, there's a whole species, the Night Sisters, that like make zombies, and I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Yes, there is magic, but it's all maintained. And I guess you could argue this is that case too, right? It's all sort of based on the central conceit of the Force, right? That there within the Force, there's dark and light powers, and you can kind of just be vague.
And what we learn about the Magistrix later is like, okay, I guess maybe she has Force powers, but Force powers to conjure demons? Sure, I guess.
I also like here where they after he's killed this thing, Leia says, "I don't like it. He's so pale. He looks almost as bad as he did that time his mind accidentally touched Vader's." See issue 8. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a thing that happened that one time.
Yeah, remember that when they accidentally got mind connected?
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, we liked that at the time because like the whole idea of Vader being so powerful that he can like contact Luke mentally, and they had like a psychic battle of wills that shook Luke to his core. Good stuff.
Well, because that's actually like Jedi story, it's like Force storytelling. Anyway, so Han comes back,
and God. Okay, there's a term in comic books called fridging that is coined because of this one Green Lantern story in which the Green Lantern's girlfriend is chopped up and put into a fridge. It refers to a female character.
I think you mean the all-time classic story of what happened to Kyle Rayner's girlfriend.
Sure, yeah. Anyway, it is used as a shorthand for female characters being unceremoniously killed only to motivate a male character, and their death serving no other purpose. And maybe their character serving no other purpose than to die and to motivate a male character.
Yeah, because this is egregious. This is she was introduced only to die. It's not even that she was a character and they killed her off to motivate. She enters the book only to die like 2 pages later to, I guess, motivate Han Solo, but also like, I don't know this character. I don't care.
Yeah. All we know is that gives Han Solo a reason to clench his fist and raise it to the heavens.
I also like the idea that, it's just her, like, clothes left on the bed because she got absorbed, and he's just like, damn it, it's my fault. I do like, I should have seen this coming, basically, and you're like, really? Smoke monster?
I find it interesting that Katya's clothes are left on the bed here, because who is the only other character in Star Wars that we've seen who, at this point, has evaporated, leaving only clothing behind?
That would be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he did it as, like, a noble sacrifice to buy Luke and gang time to escape.
Yeah, it was, like, kind of badass.
And this is, nope, woman got attacked by a smoke monster and left her clothes behind. That's just the thing that happens in Star Wars for lots of reasons.
And then Han's like, all right, I've seen enough. Let's go.
So in order...
But that's a fine line. My Harrison Ford is a fine line to my Adam West, I'm realizing.
Oh, I mean, look, at a certain point, they sort of start blending into each other.
So they take off. We do get one guy going, what the hell? That thing can't take off. And a brief mention of the House Tag, right?
Yeah. House of Tag. They just drove right past some House of Tag ships.
It is just like, don't worry, we didn't forget about that, people. That's still around.
And in the comic, as of this was released, it was.
Yeah, but I just like the idea about, like, this annual may not be mentioned, but House of Tag is still a thing because that is sort of the thread at this point in the comic.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And then at the bottom of this page, we get some backstory about Han and Katya.
Let me tell you about Katya. I'll tell you right now. We were on a planet called, once again, this is Skye, right? She was the
Skye.
Yeah, that the winged woman was the Magistrix of Skye, which is where, we were smuggling a thing. And what happened? They got captured?
They got captured, and then they were hunted, basically, and only Han and Katya made it out alive.
How? I don't know. It's almost like that.
Smuggled himself.
You know how I am. You know how I do.
And anyway, they're flying there to get revenge, I guess.
Yeah. It's and I love Claremont. This is a bad story.
Yeah, and like Leia sort of lampshades it here, being like, what are we doing? And Han has to say, well, I've had it with running, with playing this game by her rules. We're heading to Skye, Princess. I'm going to do what the lady least expects, confront her on her own turf. And then what's this? Oh, the Magistrix totally expected it.
So they land on this planet, incidentally.
Yeah.
Where this woman happens to be.
Uh-huh.
Also happens to be there is Han's old friend / maybe ex-girlfriend or whatever.
Sure.
But also the woman was expecting them to be there?
Yeah.
Jesus. This is what I'm talking about. This is bad. This is bad writing. That's so complicated.
Oh, let's make it even more complicated. A hologram of the Magistrix is beamed onto the Millennium Falcon. Not via their communication system, but via, like, teleporting hologram. Don't worry about it.
And then all of this is just to set up, also I'm connected to the Empire, so TIE fighters.
Yeah. You've walked right into my trap. I was expecting you the whole time. And by the way, we're under attack. It's TIE fighters. Luke and Leia, jump on the guns.
Does Luke? I think it's just Leia.
Oh, is it just Leia?
I think it's just Leia.
Oh, good for Leia. She's good at killing people. And she does that.
I mean, they do talk about that. Yeah.
3 shots, 3 direct hits, 3 less TIE fighters to worry about.
That's awesome. The fact that he keeps going is where my issues. 3 dead Imperials to weigh in balance against the millions slaughtered without mercy when the Emperor's Death Star destroyed Leia's homeworld, Alderaan.
I love the asterisks on this one being like, reference Star Wars #3, not the movie Star Wars.
No. I reference our adaptation of that movie that I guess a few people saw.
Where Alderaan was done exploded.
Yeah. But I just like the idea about like this is that like more is or less is more thing. The 3 shots, 3 direct hits, 3 less TIE fighters to worry about. Great, simple, clean, really nice. And then he's like, and then also her internal logic about the trauma of it. Oh, for fuck's sake! Here he goes again.
What's this? More TIE fighters.
Yep. And one of them gets a shot on the Falcon, and the artificial gravity's gone.
Which then teleports Leia back onto the bridge somehow.
Yeah. Also, man, 3PO calling R2 a rust-choked gearbox. Jesus.
Anyway, yeah. They get shot at, their artificial gravity goes down, the engines go down, and now they're crashing.
Yep. The Falcon's going down, and this TIE fighter pilot's just like, yeah, well, they don't have a chance. I'm going to turn around.
Oh, that's classic bad guy move, though. It's like, well, clearly they must have died.
Yeah, that's probably the end of them. I'm going home.
Let that be a lesson to all minions and goons and henchpersons out there. Always double check the bodies.
Confirm the kill, folks. Confirm the kill. Yeah, so he flies away, and of course they're fine. Well, because actually Han is going to jettison them into the life pod.
Remember those life pods that the Millennium Falcon has?
I don't, Gergoni. Tell me more about it.
Well, they look like something out of Buck Rogers as they appear as like basically a miniature version of the Fantasticar comes out of the bottom of the Millennium Falcon.
That's the thing. That's one of the things I love about particularly early, and we still see it every once in a while reading through the comic, where you just get straight up Marvel designs, like mixed with Star. You're like, that thing was attached to the Millennium Falcon? I don't think so. Because the Solo movie does the thing that it did have an escape pod, and that's why it has the gap in the front of it, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was a very clever idea.
When they jettison that, and that's what gives the Millennium Falcon its like very distinctive profile.
I thought that was extremely clever. Anyway, so they jettison out, and then they're trapped on the planet, and they're both wearing Snuggies.
Yeah, because Luke's still in a bad way. He's still recovering from his injuries.
Kill tons of people in the movie? We shot a bunch of stormtroopers and also blew up TIE fighters. Luke's taken lives. Why is killing this demon fucked him up so much?
Because it had like a psychic scream that will haunt him till the day he dies.
No, that's lazy, of course. Like, no, this one's different because it yelled into his brain.
Yeah. I mean, he killed everybody on the Death Star, John. Like, if he's not haunted by the moral arithmetic of murder.
And I mean, Luke, you're in a war now, buddy. Like, and once again, those were people. This was an inhuman being that needed to die.
I think it's more the fact that he was, like, stabbed by cat people earlier in the issue, John.
All right, maybe, sure, whatever.
Anyway, let's get introduced to Centurion of the Imperial Guard. Sorry, no, different character.
It's undeniable, though.
This guy is straight up Centurion from the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, right?
Oh, I mean, it's with a mohawk, right?
He has a mohawk.
But this one's got this one's got like a pompadour mohawk.
Okay, like a hair mohawk, as opposed to just like the fin on the head.
Yeah, which is actually way cooler. This is not as well designed as Centurion. Anyway, this guy's name is Arag? Ara?
Aragh, so Arag.
Araga, Lord of the Highlands, Patriarch of the Skitri. Oh, wow, that's even getting close to Shi'ar. The Skitri, the Windborn. Man, this seems like some James Cameron shit. I greet you and summon you to trial. And they're like, what are you talking about? What the hell could we be on trial for?
For being here.
He says, you are walkers. That is crime enough. So I guess the idea is they call people without wings walkers.
Oh, sorry, not Centurion, Gladiator. God, why did I mix that up?
Oh, yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Gladiator.
But anyway, yeah, you're going to go on trial for life or death because you are people who walk.
Yeah. We don't like your kind around here. So these people are racist is our whole point here.
Cut to part 2, a duel of eagles.
Yeah. So once again, everybody keep in mind, all of these people have wings attached to their arms, like we saw earlier, which is just weird.
Yeah, and they all have like these are just like straight up like Buck Rogers or like name your space fantasy John Carter of Mars. Like they're wearing diapers and armbands and little else, and they've got spears and hooks as weapons.
I think it's actually an interesting snapshot of it's continuing into this, but like pre-Star Wars, that you're just dealing with a pool of space designs, like alien designs. And it really does speak to, and I think we talked about this in some of the early issues, things like Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, those are decades old at this point, but those are still kind of what people are pulling from when they think of alien cultures. I really think it is things like Star Wars, and then more so later Star Trek, not so much the original series, but later that starts like coming up with new, like, wow, we've never seen stuff like that.
Well, because even the original series Star Trek is super guilty of this. You look at like the Orions or the Klingons in that show, and they are like weird, somewhat racist caricatures.
Some are, yeah, or at the very least default to just green guy.
Yeah. But
and a lot of that
green guy, but like green lady, scantily clad, like space seductress that could fit into a fantasy novel.
On Orion Slave Girl, yeah,
sure. I guess I'm not mentioning the Blue Orions.
Oh, you mean the Andorians?
Nope.
Oh,
because there's the whole other like Orions that are also blue.
Oh, yes, yes, that's a different thing. That comes in later, yeah. Well, you get in, and then the whole Orion's being pirates. Now you got me talking about Trek.
I know. Anyway, okay, so Luke and Leia are on trial.
This is Deverin. How do you pronounce that with the accent on the E?
Deverin.
Yeah, she's the prosecutor, I guess?
She speaks for the council.
Yeah.
We're all gladiators.
And she's basically, their crime is basically just like, what are you doing on our planet?
Yeah, you have violated Secretary space. You have come to our world uninvited, bearing weapons and with the stench of battle about you.
By the way, I like the idea that one of the charges is they have the stench of battle about them.
Wash your damn pits and put on some deodorant before you step foot on this world.
Dear Lord, the smell. The smell. Anyway, and once again, the whole idea about Luke's like, hey, man, what are you doing? Hey, don't raise your voice to me, young. This is just a hot-headed Luke.
Mm-hmm. So 3PO and R2 have also been captured by these people, and they've got them frozen in some kind of stasis lock. Don't worry about it. Are these people high-tech? Are they low-tech? Who knows?
And then they all point their spears or whatever at Luke, who's like, maybe I'll cooperate.
Yeah, I love when they're going through the charges here. We basically get a recap on what happened to bring them here, even though it's still the same issue. It's like, oh, these dum-dums forgot what happened 5 pages ago, so we got a recap.
That either this was posted there, or they actually printed out a physical wanted poster of Princess Leia.
Oh, yeah. When they're going through the charges, and they're like, oh, and by the way, you're also wanted by the Empire. Here is a poster that says, Leia Organa, Princess, Senator of Alderaan, wanted, for treason against the Empire, with a profile picture of her.
Where did that come from?
It was posted at the post office, John. That's where you find those.
Just the idea of these people lined up at a post office with, packages under their arms is so funny to think of. I have to ship this to Tatooine. Hello?
What do you mean it's 11 pounds? I clearly weighed it. It's 10 pounds.
Yeah, don't you? That's Walker math. Anyway, yeah.
So they call bullshit on like, oh, we came here in peace because they're like, but you're Princess Leia, leader of the Rebel Alliance, terrorist.
And this guy brought a fucking laser sword.
Yeah. But like, if this is your laser sword, who are you to own this? And Luke says, Luke Skywalker, which makes everyone go, Skywalker?
And I do love them all gathering together and speaking in their own language. Like, oh, what do we think we're going to do about this? I don't know, man. This could be a big deal for us.
Skywalker, oh my, I'm a radish.
I mean, that is basically what it is, yeah. And so...
So when they break their huddle, they're like, you are forgiven of your sins.
And Luke's like, great, let's do me another favor. We need to go save my friend Han Solo. And Leia's like, Jesus, we just got away from being killed by these people. And you instantly are like, let's go find Han. Got to. He's a main character.
Yeah. Because elsewhere in, I don't know, Castle Grayskull, wherever this is.
Yeah, it does. It's very fantasy. And by that, I mean like high fantasy, like fantasy novels of the 70s fantasy, not Star Wars space fantasy.
No, this is the layer of Mum-Ra.
Yeah, it's just everything is just like wow. Anyway, so the Magistrix has Han and Chewie, and she has,
and we get a name for her. This is Karis.
Yeah, Karis. Yeah, matriarch of the Skitri.
The Skitri, you know, the people that live on Sky.
This is interesting. Self-proclaimed Magistrix of Sky,
who has the command of stormtroopers as well as everything else.
Yeah, because once again, it's like also she's connected to... This is one of those things where I'm like, did she need to be connected to the Empire as well?
Sure, because the Empires are the bad guys, and she's a bad guy.
That's what I'm saying. It's that thing though that once again where I'm like, oh, it makes the world seem so small. So anyway, yeah, they've got Han on the block.
Yeah, he's tied up here, and either she's about to take his pants off or vivisect him. And there's no in between. It might be both.
I was gonna say with this lady, it's definitely both. And then she's like, "You thought getting killed by a smoke demon was bad. That's going to be pleasant compared to what I'm about to do to you."
Before I take your life, however, I must monologue at you.
So she says here, you and your fellow Corellians provided me of rare... So that was specifically Corellians? Like, they were all Corellians that she was hunting? Once again,
the original crew was like a Corellian freighter that Han and... Oh, yeah. I've already forgotten her name. Katya were serving on. They crash landed here and then were hunted by the Magistrix. Okay. Only Katya and Han escaped, and now this lady is back to finish the job.
Okay.
But before she does that, there are some things I would like to know about your traveling companions. And to get that information out of you, I've brought in an expert on torturing folks. It's Dr. Ball!
Hey, everybody, I'm back!
That round spherical torture droid.
Me! Woo! It's the applause from the studio audience for the guest star. He's back. The round who just has a hypodermic needle always ready to go.
Darth Vader used a similar machine on Leia when she was prisoner aboard the Death Star. Yeah, thanks, comic. We got there.
Remember that? If you're reading this comic, how did you forget that? All right, folks. Get ready, because this is where the comic really gets nuts.
Because the stormtroopers are like, hey, there's somebody coming.
The 3D, like, put on your 3D glasses as the stormtrooper points right at you and says, Captain of the Guard, flyers, sir.
They're Highland clan, by their markings, led by Arag himself, too. Probably taking some hatchlings out for their initiation hunt. Let's ignore the absolutely buck-wild image of two people with wings with the heads of Leia Organa and Luke Skywalker.
I don't understand why they're not more weirded out by this.
I don't know. Because, yeah, we get this on the... on this initial page, it just looks like they've taken the heads of Luke and Leia and stuck them onto the bodies of two of these denizens of Sky. On the next page, we see that they've been given wingsuits, which does not explain how they can fly, but...
Yeah, well, oh no, our anti-grav belt packs keep us aloft. This is all Luke thinking, by the way, as they're flying. But these wings get us where we want to go, just like this tree.
Sorry, we have to follow my head saw that big thought bubble, and my eyes just glazed over.
Yeah, that's reading a lot of Claremont for me. And then, so it's a combination of anti-grav belts with the wings, and then the bodysuit should disguise us but it shouldn't, because your faces are out there.
Yeah, but from a distance, they just look like a blue guy and a green girl. And as far as we've seen, all the guys are blue and all the girls are green. So it tracks.
And then I like that Gladiator here is just like, well, we flew you out here, but that's all we're good for. Good luck, everybody.
And Luke's like, all right, dive bomb them. And that's what they do.
And they do. And they start. And of course, Leia's zapping. They're vorping and vooing everybody.
Oh, yeah. Luke gets a couple of kills here. Leia voops a guy. And they drop their wings. And then they
doesn't weigh on him. Stormtroopers aren't people.
No, it's true. We know this.
There were people in there?
Nah, they're fascists. It's not the same
thing.
thing.
Whatever, man. But that smoke demon, he had a heart.
Anyway, they're killing. They're just killing their way into this place.
Hey, man, I flew gliders on Tatooine. Blah 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 blah. Bleep blap.
Claremont clearly getting paid by the word here.
Had to be. So Leia makes her way into the catacombs, as she says. Do you like this? Just this dead, like, goblin creature?
Yeah. I mean, look, we're just
giving us
some art to... This is a bad
place. It all
place.
fits the, like, spooky fantasy bad guy aesthetic of this place, right?
Yeah. There's some skulls laying around just for reasons.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Why not?
And she bursts in on the torture chamber and says, "Everybody freeze!"
Everybody on the fucking ground! I swear to God.
She's trying to psychoprobe him.
What?
It's a psychoprobe, John.
Yeah.
You know.
Who dares? And then oh my God. Even by, like, Buck Rogers standards, this is a goofy ass looking blaster.
It looks like a scan gun you'd find at a supermarket.
It does. It has that big wide barrel on it. So she's like, let Han go unless you want to test whether those wings can outfly my blaster fire.
Nice.
Yeah, that is good.
But then, it turns out the Magistrix is just buying time for more of the Catumans to show up.
I will say, Leia is obviously a super badass character, but really poor that she did not realize that there was like a whole army of these guys assembling behind her.
How could they not have guessed there'd be more of these, like, crazy cat people in this castle?
I know, it just seems, like, tactically, this is a bad move on Leia's part. And I don't like seeing that.
Yeah, but she ends up scuffling with these guys and then gets one of the blasters and just murders the bejesus out of one of them.
Well, because if there's one thing, if Luke is upset about stuff, we know Leia has no problem just offing whoever comes in her way.
Right, because say what you will about her tactical decisions here, she does make the supremely good tactical decision of killing a guy and then also freeing Chewie at the same time.
Yeah, she shoots this guy into the, like, force field that's holding Chewie, which breaks it, and so then Chewie just starts murdering.
And boy, does he. We love Chewie that strangles somebody off panel.
He does appear to be strangling the life out of one of these Katu men, and I'm here for it.
So after they're all dead, Han is rescued.
And he's like, hey, I'm pretty fucked up. This will only happen to me in both of the second 2 movies that'll come out. Get used to, like, woozy Han Solo.
Yeah. Anyway, somewhere in all this chaos, the Magistrix has escaped, but she managed to grab her shuriken on the way out the door.
Yeah. Well, those are important.
Because apparently there's some kind of prophecy at work here.
Oh, yeah.
That we're learning about right now.
Let's just throw that in. This is what I'm talking about. This is far and away the worst written of these 3. Also,
the prophecy. Can he be the one?
And then Luke is just like, throwing star. He actually they call them throwing stars.
Because they're stars that she throws.
Yeah. Apparently, we've entered a GI Joe comic now.
They're literally 5-pointed like stars you would draw as a second grader on a piece of paper that said you did a good job.
Yes, exactly. So she throws them at them, and then they fight. She suddenly has a lightsaber.
Yeah, suddenly Karis, the Magistrix, has a lightsaber, a red lightsaber, because she's a bad guy, remember?
Yeah. And then once we're thinking more about stuff, and he's flying around, they're having a mid-air lightsaber battle, which is cool, except it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I would assume a lot of swooping is involved, and we're just not seeing the swooping.
But also just like the whole idea about like they're talking about prophecy, and suddenly she has a lightsaber. There's a lot of stuff that just like suddenly rolls into the comic here, where you're like, wait, what?
Well, because during the council meeting when they were forgiven, it was because they heard Luke's name and because they recognized the name Skywalker. And what we're going to learn here over the next page is that they were fighting, and it's going to turn out that Karis was trained by Darth Vader.
Oh, this I hated this. I hated it out of nowhere. She's like, also, Darth Vader is my master. And you're like, what? Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I understand. I understand. Look, the retort to this is they don't really know what Darth Vader is at this point, right?
Right, because on the last page of this book, we get this whole thing that, like, okay, this is what happened years ago. This guy, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and his apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, and his other apprentice, Darth Vader, all showed up on this planet. Yeah, it's 3 guys. Don't worry about what the other movies are going to say.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. This doesn't make any sense. And actually, we'll get even more into this in the third one, too.
And they fucked around here, and that eventually Karis was teamed up with Darth Vader to be evil, and she took over the world, but only after learning the dark secrets of Darth Vader.
They also I also like her line about during what you humans called the Clone Wars. Are there other people who call it other things?
Don't worry about it. What the Clone Wars is right now, I like that they mention it, don't get me wrong.
No. I mean, look, once again, continuity.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
But like, would Anakin and Obi-Wan show up to a random planet during the Clone Wars? Yeah, absolutely. They did it all the time.
Of course. Yeah. It's just the thing once again is what do you think the Clone Wars is, Chris Claremont? Unclear. No one really knows.
I would love to know. Yeah.
Yeah, like what I would be like, what do they have in terms of information about the Clone Wars other than the Clone Wars happened?
There are so many theories from this era of Star Wars about like what is the Clone Wars, because like nobody really knew.
No, and it's because
even George. Let's be honest.
Oh no. Maybe some very loose ideas, but certainly not anything about the whole idea. We've talked about this before. That's a notion that has been dispelled so many times, right? Is the idea that he had the whole thing mapped out in his brain the whole time. You're like, no, he didn't.
Yeah. So at the end of all of this, Luke is like, "Oh, but my father did some good here."
Yeah,
I don't know about that, but
well, yeah. He just goes, "Yeah, I'm just thinking about my father. I wear his lightsaber, and I hope I'm just as good a man as he is."
Yeah.
And then, boy,
you are indeed carrying around the Youngling Slayer 9000, Luke.
Is this the lightsaber that he killed the younglings with?
100%, because it's the one that Obi-Wan takes from him on Mustafar.
That's right. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the red lightsaber he gets later from Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
100%
killed a bunch of kids with that lightsaber.
Yeah. And then just to add to the pretension of Claremont, he has to say Finn instead of end.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about a Han Solo book.
Yeah, moving on, folks.
King Size Annual number 2.
King Size Annual number 2. Let's skip through all the Star Wars Weekly stuff that was at the end of that. All right, King Size Annual number 2. You got Han Solo, a hot lady, and some floating monks.
Let's get into it, because this is a Michelini script. We got Infantino back on art. Remember him?
Of course I do. Who could forget?
We've got Rudy Nebris on inks.
I don't remember Rudy Nebris being part of the comic beforehand.
No, he wasn't. But we've got Joe Rosen and Cheng. I forget his first name.
Well, anyway, we got Joe Russos on color. Mm-hmm. While you look that up, Jim Scalacrup, editor. And hey, back to the days when we had funny stuff. Jim Shooter, word speeder.
Janice Chang on letters.
Oh, okay, very good.
And yes, the word speeder, Jim Shooter.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Because Luke and Lando are running for their lives.
Here we go. And so is 3PO, which once again, always hilarious to imagine 3PO running.
I mean, he does actually even say here that, like, hey, I'm not built for running. My mobility circuits weren't designed for hairbreadth escapes.
So where are we? They're on Ventuine. Jesus, how many Tuines can we get in one universe?
Do you want the answer to this, John?
Do you actually have a number?
I don't have a number, but I can tell you why we have so many Tuines.
Well, okay, go ahead.
It is I believe it's Huttese that just means like planet.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll go with that. That works.
So we have a Dantooine, a Tatooine, a Ventuine.
Do we ever see this? This is the only mention of Ventuine, though, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right. There you go. So they're running from people on Ventuine, shooting out with stormtroopers. And they're here, we'll discover they're here to find some artifact that they think could be used to help the rebellion. And instead they end
the Shade Shine, which is the title of the issue.
The Shade Shine. And they walk in on a giant golden statue of Han Solo.
Let's go to the crappy planet where I'm a folk hero.
You can't not think of Jamestown, right? If you are a Firefly fan, immediately I was like, wow. Did Joss Whedon go, I remember a comic when I was a kid. So, yeah.
What's this giant golden statue of Han Solo? And what's this weird bald monk who says, our greatest hero. I am Vetter Peen. You ask so many questions.
In the funkiest of robes.
Oh, he got such a funky robe.
Yeah. I do like, you do speak Galaxy Standard, and Luke just goes, we're speaking it right now. What are you talking about? Like, we're literally speaking it right now anyway.
But he says, oh, so you're admiring the statue of our savior.
Yeah, Han Solo. Pretty cool, right? Oh, the nerd. Love it.
We love his action figures. Those are the ones that sell out the quickest.
Yeah. Make sure you stop by the gift shop on the way out and take home a Han Solo of your own.
Luke is admittedly a little confused by like, what? Really? Han?
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they're like, Lando, he's talking about, this is the man who saved us from the deadly curse of the Shade Shine. And of course, Lando's like, Shade Shine? Hey, that's the thing we're here for.
And the old monk is like, well, it is terribly cursed, so I must tell you a story. I know you're being chased, but this is a frame narrative, so the passage of time will get confusing from here on out.
Yeah, and so they're like, oh, wait, here, you know what? Actually, why don't we have Han Solo tell you the story himself? Well, that's crazy.
So they hit a rock, and the rock starts speaking in Han Solo's voice.
He does this quick thing about, they're called memory stones. They're unique to our planet. They basically just have rocks that record stuff.
That was actually a plot point in a previous issue of Star Wars.
It was, wasn't it?
Because they had that base that was made of this stuff that recorded all the images around it. And when they abandoned that base, they had to go back for it, or else the Imperials would get all their rebel secrets.
Were they called memory stones?
I don't think so, but...
Yeah, anyway, so they fire this up, and Han Solo goes, I'm not usually much for telling stories, which is not true. But this guy does nothing but tell you his own adventures. So he's like, so here, anyway, Chewie and I had landed on the planet. I put on a dumb fucking hat.
And Han will narrate the rest of this issue for the most part.
He sure will. I mean, this is like, hey kids, I know you're really upset that your buddy Han Solo isn't in the comic due to the events of Empire Strikes Back. So here's a whole annual of a Han Solo adventure.
Which I'm not mad about. And, like,
No.
I think it's novel for this book to have first-person narration.
Actually, yeah, because it's a lot better than the weird insanity that was the novel that Claremont was writing. And so he's here specifically because he's looking for Sansana, which is
drugs.
It's a kind of spice, and of course, spice means drugs in the world of
drugs.
Star Wars.
Yeah, he's looking for drugs. Let us not forget Han Solo, drug smuggler.
Yeah. The movies play fast and loose and just kind of are like, don't think about it. But like, no, hardened criminal Han Solo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is like the good shit that he's getting here.
Oh yeah, Sansana spice. That's high grade.
Yeah, that's pure.
You cut rails of that and you snort it in a bathroom.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, sorry, Chewie, I can't take you. You'd stand out too much. Anyway, so he walks towards town in this getup.
Green cloak and Tom Sawyer hat.
So there he goes.
Totally doesn't make him stand out among the much shorter, bald inhabitants of this world.
I know, he really is just like he's just like they'll take me for an alien nomad, is what he says.
And Chewie can't get away with that?
No, he's a 7.5 foot tall Wookiee. That's gonna draw too much attention.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah,
they go to a city called Goyakin.
Yeah, where there's a bunch of bald guys in Zardoz costumes.
I mean, yeah. They're these big bald goons walking through the street. One of them pushes over a familiar-looking monk.
And Han Solo, being the great guy that we know he is just like, hey, that wasn't cool. Let me help you up, old man.
And, sorry you got pushed over by those goons. You wouldn't happen to know where the closest bar is, would you?
Why, it's right over there.
Second door from the pyramid.
Thanks, old timer. So let's see.
Han wanders into this bar. Again, cannot stress enough. Everyone here is bald. Han Solo sticks out like a sore thumb.
I know, yeah. Like biggest thing he should have done is shaved his head, and then he would have fit in just fine.
But he makes the classic mistake of going up to the bartender and saying, 1 drugs, please.
And everyone in the place goes, did he say drugs or Sansana? And Han does react like, something I said.
So a guy breaks a bottle over the bar, calls him a Satab lover, whatever that is.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be called that on this planet. Are you kidding me?
And then Han gets into a good old-fashioned Donnybrook inside this bar.
I mean, I kind of like that. That's what you want Han to be getting in, right? Han in a bar fight is very on point. Anyway,
he's breaking
Han
bottles. He's kicking people in the head.
And he runs out of there and right into Deja Thoris. I just think that's crazy. You just don't see it coming.
I said this was a John Carter story. This is such a John Carter story.
I mean, okay, if you're watching on YouTube, the last panel on this page here, you've got Han running, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you just took the last panel of this woman being pulled on a chariot thing by this weird alien horse creature, that you'd be like, oh, I'm looking at a John Carter comic.
I mean, you'd have to make her skin like red because Deja Thoris is, of course, a member of the Red Martians of Basum, and they would not be so pale as this until, of course, John Carter's son, of course, would inherit his father's pale features because as a Virginia gentleman, he is not exposed to.
We don't need to get lost in the John Carter stuff.
Apologies, sorry.
Yeah. Han
goes stumbling into this. We've got some people trying to get close to the woman in the chariot here, and some of those big bald goons with whips are like, back, you heathens.
Yeah, this is. I mean, by the way, can I talk about that? One of the weird things about reading these back to back was like, oh, yet another thing where like an important woman is plowing her way through the streets, going like, "Stay away."
Yeah. You'll face the justice of Satab himself. So Satab apparently a bad guy.
Very much so, and we see that these monks or whatever are actually planning to bomb the chariot.
Yeah, because as we see that same bald monk who's sort of framing all of this, the Rav Peen is his name.
Mm-hmm.
And
like,
we see him talking to another guy.
We're going to blow her up real good.
Yeah. If only we could wait until the fulfillment of the foretelling, the prophecy that promises a being with ways and weapons far different from our own, a being who will help lift the yoke of Satab's tyranny. You know, because there's always a prophecy about some guy that's going to show up.
Jesus Christ, the prophecies, it never ends. So
The
Han
Mahdi, you know.
This is a bold move for Han to be like, hey, look, something everyone's looking at. I'm just going to take it hostage and go, let's go, buddy.
I love this as a Han move. Just like, let's roll in with a gun drawn and see what happens.
What is clearly some kind of like royal procession or whatever. And he's just like, move it, pal. Let's go.
But
this is mine now.
Allowing him to save face at the last second is a hurled bomb.
That he shazatches out of the sky.
We love a good Sazach.
Yeah. And so this guy's about to impale him, and it's the woman here that's like, whoa, he just saved us.
Yeah, and Han's like, I did? I mean, yeah, of course I did.
She also likes what she sees.
Oh, I mean, so we haven't described this chariot. It looks like the back of an old Buick that's lined with a fur-lined beanbag chair.
Yes, 100%. And then she's like, don't kill him. He saved my life, and he looks like 1980s Harrison Ford.
So he's immediately invited into the chariot.
Yeah, don't mind if I do.
In the meantime, my handsome rescuer and I will get to know each other better. A lot better.
Yeah, sex.
Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
Yeah, and Han is just like, Captain Solo, you must be living right.
So at the edge of the crowd, they're like, oh, we didn't blow her up. But this stranger is in our midst now, and he's being led into the Satab's castle. Maybe he is the one.
God damn it. Stop with the prophecies.
Never.
Yeah. How many prophecies can one franchise contain?
Oh, so many, John. It's prophecies all the way down.
It's insane. I can't even count the prophecies.
There's so many, and we'll never explain any of them.
Anyway, Han gets taken to the palace.
Yeah, and we get introduced to Satab, who is like 100% a Ming the Merciless type.
Oh my god, it's so. I mean, it really is just like Ming. I mean Satab. And so he's just like, "Hey, buddy, I hear you saved." Who is she in relation to him?
She's just, his. I don't want to use the word concubine, but it seems to fit.
Yeah, that's all I could come up with too. But he's just like, "Hey, thanks for saving her, man. Let's have a good time.
Bust out some meals. We got a big dinner. Let's call the guards in and give us a show. And what that show is a rebel that I'm going to kill.
Death to Ming. I mean, Satab. I mean, what?" Yeah. He kills him with a handshake.
Yeah, we see a hand grip him by the hand, and then another hand grip him by the neck, and seems to drain the life out of him. Like, he is mummified before our eyes.
Indeed. Which is actually pretty gnarly.
And then they proceed to have a feast as the corpse is dragged off.
And Han is a little, like, weirded out by it, but it's just like, oh, shit happens, man.
Then we have this conversation about how these guys don't understand what guns are, which really raises some questions about whether or not this is a spacefaring civilization.
But yet we know that there are explosives exist.
Yeah. but he refers to it as, "By the way, my friend, the messenger spoke of an odd weapon you possess, one that spits fire. Might I see it?"
I would say this is something we run into a lot in this comic, which is like they can't fully nail down how primitive societies are.
Well, no, because this is not, we've exited firmly Star Wars, and we are now in John Carter of Mars or Buck Rogers or name your space fantasy.
Right. Take your pick, whatever pulp space opera you want.
Yeah, there's a million of them, and we're in that.
They're not all radically similar to each other.
I just learned that Flash Gordon actually came second after Buck Rogers, which is why I'm referencing Buck Rogers more and more.
Yes.
I'm fascinated by this continuum of...
like Carter to Buck Rogers to Flash Gordon are all just sort of like mild turns on the same idea, to then Adam Strange as well, then for DC, is just the same guy again.
Well, I'm learning that like in the 30s and 40s, there was a whole crop of these like space fantasy comic strips that were in like newspapers that all basically cropped up within like a 5-year period of each other. It's pretty interesting.
I mean, it's incredible back then. Look at how many Superman knockoffs there were immediately, and like, a few made their way. Shazam, obviously, or Captain Marvel, as he was at the time, being like, that actually had a mildly interesting twist in it, where it's a kid who turned into him. But all the other ones pretty much died away.
Yeah, but so we're not in a Star Wars story anymore. These guys don't know what blasters are. They've got spears and magic gemstones.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But they're like guns.
Yeah. So Hans participated in the feast.
Take a look at it.
But then he notices that this guy is using some drugs.
And he's like, hey, I came here for drugs.
I came here for drugs. Wouldn't it be great if I stole some drugs from this guy?
Yeah. He's like, that'd be great. Okay, so all I have to do is just wait him out and then get all those drugs on the Falcon so I can give them to the people who are addicted to them. And so then we get some hot... He's not a good guy, you guys.
I know. It's just so funny to like bring the logical conclusion to what he's doing here.
I just want to gloss over it.
Uh-huh. It's like he was working for Jabba the Hutt, transporting drugs.
Yeah. I know the movies have sort of now, retconned it a little. Like his heart wasn't in it, and he didn't,
Sure.
Yeah,
and in the same way that you can say, well, there are medicinal uses for Sansana spice. Like, okay.
Yeah. I use it. I have a prescription for Sansana spice, man.
Yeah. I've got my spice card.
For my night blindness. Hey, man, on our planet, it's legal. We got Sansana dispensaries in every corner. All right. So anyway, Han's sneaking about.
Yeah, at night he's creeping about. He's doing his Prince of Persia thing up the side of walls, which is always something Han Solo can do.
Han Solo and his parkour training.
Honestly, Han Solo as the star of like we both of us were pretty decent sized fans of Star Wars Outlaws, which was basically this.
100%. Yeah, and that was the stuff I enjoyed the most in it, is like the thievery.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is cool.
So,
I do like
he's
that.
creeping around looking for their drug stash when, what's this? He's jumped by a Deja Thoris type.
Man, I don't know who let this drawing of her with her eyes fully closed here.
It keeps doing that over the course of the next few pages. This is Chrysala, by the way, is the name of the woman who was in the...
I don't understand this approach. Like this design at all.
Early 80s Asian caricature drawing. I don't know what's to not understand here.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking.
Yeah, it's not great.
No. You know how all Asian people have their eyes closed permanently? I don't.
But that's like a thing in comic books, and honestly kind of still is to this day in some cases.
Well, yeah, but I will say it is shocking to think that, like, man, even by the 80s, yep.
But anyway, he's like, oh, hey, yeah, I came up here to see you?
Yeah, for sex.
Yeah. Anyway, she wants to show him her sunrise terrace, because that's what the kids are calling it these days.
Sunrise, but the sun won't be up for another 6. Oh. And then they run away, but who's watching? Ming.
I mean,
right. Where is this smuggler headed?
Because, okay, we're going to just keep piling on what the Shade Shine can do, because it's the magic gemstone that he has is the Shade Shine. He can use it to draw people's life force out. He can also use it to clairvoyantly spy on people, which is what he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also learn that he can direct energy blasts and shields with it later.
It's whatever they need it to be.
Yeah, basically. It's a magic doohickey that does whatever they want it to.
So anyway, Han, hours have passed. Who knows what these two have gotten up to?
But Ming the Merciless is narrating to his little goblin man friend, who looks like a bad guy from He-Man. He's got the diaper and the straps, and but this is Ploggit.
Ploggit. Not Clytus.
No, Ploggit. So long as Chrysala continues to amuse me, she can be forgiven her little escapades. And as for the dashing Captain Solo, well, he has admirable resiliency, great stamina, and shall we say, interesting morals. I think he is the perfect candidate for the next one. Bum, bum, bum.
What the hell does that mean? We'll find out.
Let's find out, yeah. Meanwhile, we cut to a post-coital Han Solo.
We don't know what happened. Both their clothes are still on.
He's putting his clothes on, John.
Yeah. Well, that was a fun time. We talk about he's putting his vest on and then it disappears. Then it's off of him at the end of the page, though.
Oh, yeah, it is. Weird.
Even though they make a point of showing him pulling it back on. It's almost like they didn't care. But
yeah, apparently they spent 6 hours in this lady's bedroom because there's a knock on the door saying, breakfast.
Yeah. Hey, man, Han's got stamina, if anything.
So Chrysala's like, hey, get back to your bedroom. We can't let them know that we did the nasty all night.
Yeah. Exactly. And so she's just like, get out of here. And he's like, all right, yeah. Look, this is not the first time I've ever had to crawl out of a bedroom. And so once again, his vest is off.
Yeah. And he scrambles down, but then Satab's like, oh, I'm glad you all had a good evening.
Mm-hmm. And by good, we all know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so they're just like, all right, everybody, come with me. We're going out on a space camel ride.
Yeah, they're riding. I love when fantasy people ride giant birds. It's my favorite thing.
Who doesn't?
They're big, like, space ostriches. I'm here for it.
Yeah, so anyway, they're like, I thought you might like this cave.
We always shows all of our guests our finest caves.
And so they go in there, and yeah, there's a bunch of slaves working away at the cave. Yeah,
because they didn't know what guns are, but all these guys have, like, jackhammers.
Man. That also, what was the point of that? Like, you could have just cut the gun bit. Nothing comes of it.
Anyway, they're like, yeah, we get all of our best minerals from this cave, but we definitely didn't lure you here to release a giant cave monster on you.
He's big and purple, and he's Gararine.
What is this thing? It looks like, what if the Grimace did steroids nonstop?
Yeah. When they have to do an intervention for the human growth hormone that Grimace has been using.
Just Grimace on gear through the entire early 90s. He, like, imagine a veiny Grimace if you're not watching on YouTube.
Give me the burgers now.
Anyway, Han grabs a spear and kills it.
Fuck you! He actually throws the spear into is it stalactite that's above?
Stalactite hangs tightly. Stalagmites stand mightily.
So, all right, I knew it. So he throws the spear, which knocks the stalactite down that impales the thing, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, he doesn't throw the spear into the monster. He throws it through stone.
Ain't no thing.
Yeah. Anyway, Satab is like, oh my.
Ever done?
I mean, it's definitely the most like impressive physical feat I've seen him.
Christ! Like if you saw that, you'd be like, "Holy God, this man's unstoppable."
Which pleases Satab to no end.
He's like, "Oh, I like that. I like that a lot."
And his little goblin friend is like, master.
Yeah, maybe this guy's got the chops to be the next Satab.
Meanwhile, a slave in the cave overhears this and goes, "Oh, Rolf Peen's got to hear about this shit."
Yeah. So anyway, they go. He's like that. I do like the narration. It's like, then for a long time, nothing happened.
So they go to the bald priest guy again, being like, "They're gonna turn Captain Solo into the next Satab. We gotta stop this."
I do like that he does this one thing, and maybe he'd be a good choice, and then he just is going to be. It's not like, he's a perspective. They're like, nope, that's the guy.
John, he threw a spear through a stalactite.
This guy can write his own check now. So they give him the shade shine.
Or they try to, because, Han walks in on the, like, ritual chamber surrounded by eyes wide shut extras. And
what is the password?
It's swordfish?
Somewhere in the background, there's a cuckolded Tom Cruise being like, "I'm so mad."
Weird moment. And he tries to pass off the shade sign, the magical gemstone, and Han's like, "Oh, great, magic gemstone, that rules."
That sounds great. I bet that'll fetch a pretty penny on the market.
Well, specifically, he's like, with the powers I get from touching the stone, picking up some Sensana should be easy. So he's like, with this magic rock, I'll get so many drugs.
Yeah, that's still his main goal. Number one, how do I get the drugs, though? That's great. All power, but how can I use that to sell more drugs?
I would love it if somebody, like, acquired superhuman abilities and just, like, used them to become a drug dealer. And I guess they've done that in Marvel. Like, Mr. Hyde is kind of that.
I mean, yeah, but he is, to be fair, he is dealing drugs that deal in powers. But just the idea about, like, I'm going to use all this power to be better at selling cocaine.
Right. Hey, look, set realistic goals, I guess.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be the new Pablo Escobar with my superpowers. Anyway.
But the current Satab is like, but I think we have some uninvited guests in our number.
Yeah. And it's our old friend, Vetter Peen.
Oh, yeah, he's called Vetter and Van Peen throughout this whole thing.
Yeah. Don't love it. Don't call your character Peen. I don't care how you spell it.
P-I-I-N.
Yeah, I don't care. It reads as Peen. And that's not great.
Yeah. And anyway, we got to kill these guys before Han Solo can get the shade shine. So Han, go kill these guys.
Chrysala is the one who takes Han's gun.
And is like, I've got to put a stop to this.
But she doesn't know how to use it.
Of course.
So she's just at least that makes sense. Around. Yeah. She's just waving it around. And then Han kicks a table into this guy?
Into the Satab, yeah.
And they run out together, Chrysala.
Han's inner dialogue here is so Han Solo. Sure wish I knew what's going on.
Yeah.
But if I am going to side with anyone, it's going to be the pretty one. Yep. So he seems to side with Chrysala and the rebels merely out of like, well, she's hot and I had sex with her, so I guess I'm on her team.
Yeah, I mean, I will. Yeah, that is very on brand. I mean, that's not what he does with the rebels too.
That's fair.
I don't think he came back for Luke specifically. And so anyway, they're running out of here. And so this is where Chrysala's like, you should know something. that if you touch the Shade Shine within a year of touching it, you become so sensitive to external stimuli that the person can't stand it. They burn out. The fuck?
We'll find out literally it means like they will burst into flame.
Yeah.
So, like, the Shade Shine gives you all these immense magical powers, but it makes you more and more sensitive to all stimuli. So like touch and hear and like sounds and tastes and sights. All of it becomes so overwhelming that you literally explode.
I mean, and that's classic fantasy, right? Magic has a price kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, you can't use the One Ring without it corrupting you. We get it.
Yeah. Hey man, we all read Tolkien. All right. We
come
on. So anyway, she opens up this garage door where there's just a bunch of floating bald dudes.
Well, because she's like, look, this is what happens. You got to hand off the Shade Shine and before it like totally overwhelms you, because if you don't, you explode. But most of the previous Satabs have handed it off just before they've exploded, and then they've walked into this weird floaty room where they can remain in stasis until we figure out a way to fix them.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it sounds pretty nice the way she describes it.
The minerals that compose the chamber's walls nullify both gravity and life function. Thus, a Satab merely walks in and seconds later is rendered immobile, floating in a state of sleep-like suspension.
And Han's like, that's not great.
But also, how am I supposed to get drugs if I do that?
Well, the Satab has come in, though. I believe Captain Solo, because he says, so that's what the Satab wants me to protect and to become sooner or later. I believe, Captain Solo, the operative word is sooner.
Because, Ming the Merciless comes in and he's like, you're going to take this magic rock, so help me God.
And he uses the magic rock to destroy Han's gun.
Yep, gun blows up.
But then Han throws
a rock at him.
God damn. Han's strength in this comic is way increased.
When I say throws a rock, there is a giant stone head of an idol, like that was probably in its full height, like 10 feet tall. So this rock is a large, hundreds of pound boulder that Han just fucking yeets at this guy.
Because he says he uses a vibratory impulse to shatter Han's weapon. And then Han hits back with the not great, oh yeah, well impulse this, you lunatic. What?
And the Satab being like, oh, blast, I didn't expect a physical attack.
You already saw him throw a spear at a stalactite and impale a monster.
But no matter, because my magic powers also create force fields.
Yeah. Ha ha! Ha ha ha! This thing does whatever it needs to. So anyway, this guy's got the upper hand now. But then Chrysalid...
Until he...
Oh, she's taken the Shade Shine.
Yep. Because she's just like, I will use these powers to defeat you, Satab, and I will refuse them myself.
And so she shoots, like, energy blast at him, but he's like, haha, you may have the thing, but I know how to... What?
He is still... The Shade Shine's magic powers, like, are just in you once you take possession of it.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Until they burn out.
Okay, so he's like... So he deflects it, he's like, haha!
But then he is just like, oh no, it's overcoming me right now. Oh, how convenient for them.
I know, this really is just like, wait, so he did have to get rid of this because he was like minutes from exploding.
Yes, which he does.
Yeah. He then proceeds to explode.
And we get some narration from Han in the frame narrative being like, but I guess the big guy was too far gone. Once he fell, he just lay there trembling, turning black as he burned up from the inside. And then with a cloud of stench and smoke, like a backfiring sandcrawler, he was gone.
And I threw another rock at him.
Yeah, why does he throw a rock at him again?
Yeah, well, he says, because I only wanted to slow the Satab down, delay him. So I guess, like, he was with his last bit of strength going to run at and kill Chrysalis, so Han threw a rock at him to stop him.
And I guess it worked.
Yeah. But I also like the way Han's just like, so anyway, the guy, like, burned up from the inside. This is another thing I saw.
And then
the Force
Dean runs in.
He saw this, but the Force is still stupid.
Yeah, of course. He runs in and he's like, "You did it! You killed the Sata! We're free! Hooray! You are the prophesized one!"
Yeah, it all worked out.
Unless,
wait a minute, Chrysala used the was it the what the fuck is it called? The sunshade?
the Shade Shine.
Shade shine.
You know, two words that are opposite of each other, and that makes it a fantasy implement.
And so she's like
Frostfire.
She's so she's like, yeah, I've got to go be with the floating monk guys. Sorry.
Yeah, but I will dream of you, Han Solo, because we just had sex that one time about 12 hours ago.
Well, I mean, if we're to believe that she was probably taken at a certain point and made a concubine for the Satab, then yeah, it's probably the best experience she's had sexually.
And I guess she will drift aimlessly in this forever night and holding the Shade Shine at bay so that it can no longer conquer peoples of the galaxy. And she walks willingly into that long, endless sleep.
Mm-hmm. And Han goes, so anyway, that's my story. Then Chewie and I flew away.
And we never did get those drugs.
That's a story for another day. We had to kill a whole bunch of people who were upset about that. Anyway. And so they're just like, well, that's the story.
Yeah, so we cut back to Luke and Lando being like, wow, well, it was good to hear Han's voice again, but what's this? I hear boots coming on the flagstones? Oh, right, we're being chased by people.
And 3PO hits us with a classic, we're doomed, everybody applauds.
Mm-hmm. So, Lando may be gone, but he can still help us. They trigger
Han, yeah.
Lando, Han's voice to fool some stormtroopers because, oh yeah, by the way, there's some stormtroopers here for reasons who cares?
It doesn't matter. It's just to do this at the end. And they use one of the memory stones to record Luke's voice to lure them into the floating chamber.
Which then lets them just suspend all of the stormtroopers with all the bald floaty guys.
Got him. Yeah. And then Lando goes, hey, that's that hot lady that Han was talking about.
So, which basically is just there to be like, oh yeah, I guess Han was telling the truth.
What? Why was there doubt? You know, that whole thing might have been a lie.
Would the end of this story be more frustrating if it turned out that Han was just full of crap?
Yeah. I would find it funny, but it would be objectively bad storytelling.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they're just like, yep, there it is. He goes, yes, the Peen says, yes, my children, I believe we all owe them both a great deal. And they fly off in a Y-wing for some reason.
And so, sometime later, a rebel starcraft takes off from Ventuine, its crew juggling mixed emotions, for though they had not obtained the secret weapon they had come for, a weapon that may well have destroyed them, they do leave with a gentler prize, the special feeling of having had their lives touched once more by an old friend and by a new one. And I guess we're referring to that lady that we just saw floating in that room.
That we heard about in a flashback. I also I love this ending because I love the idea that they're just like, we need some kind of culmination for why Luke and Lando's story matters at all.
It's like, yeah, why have this be a frame narrative? Huh?
They went there to get a thing that they then realized they couldn't get, but also that's okay because they really shouldn't have it. Great.
Which is a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Stuff.
Well, you can always just be like, it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
All right. Let's finish this thing up.
Star Wars Annual number 3. This came out in January of 1983.
So still a few months before Return of the Jedi.
Still a few months before Return of the Jedi, but we get a really kick-ass cover with everyone's favorite Darth.
I gotta say, yeah, I'm buying this. This is coming home with me from the newsstand if I see this cover, because that is badass.
We've got a creative team of writing by Joe Duffy. We've got art, pencils and colors by Klaus Janson, classic. Joe Rosen on letters. Louise Jones, eventually Simonson on edits, and editor-in-chief Jim Shooter. So Klaus Janson doing all the heavy lifting here.
And I will say, I love Klaus Janson. Not his finest work.
Look, Klaus Janson is a classic artist of Marvel from going way back.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, and I think this will play into what we're looking at: a frequent and close collaborator of one Frank Miller.
Yeah. So as we get into it, we start with Darth Vader. We had him on the cover, and he's on the first page. Great start.
Yeah, there he is, man. And I gotta say, aside from a couple moments, this is some good Vader in this comic.
This is some good Vader. This is some good Star Wars, in my opinion. The art maybe lets the story down a little bit, but I like this story.
I have some issues with a couple of characters in it.
Well, sure. But anyways, Vader rubbing his hands together because he's a bad guy.
And there's a guy literally like polishing his boots.
Yeah.
And he's talking.
You know what brings us to Belderon and why our mission is so important. My orders come from the Emperor himself. Don't fail me.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, no, don't worry, buddy. We won't, my lord, you know. And I just like the guy's like, yeah, of course, right. But you're exaggerating about like how important the mission is, right? You know, classic Vader exaggerating stuff.
Yeah, but no. Vader's like, no, this is serious, my guy. We're going to crush the Rebel Alliance due to what is happening down on this planet.
Mm-hmm. And he's just like, and if you fuck up, I'm killing you all.
I mean, he says, I repeat, gentlemen, fail me here, fail the Emperor here, and you won't get the opportunity to fail again.
So basically,
that's some good Vader.
That's great Vader. That's great Vader. And I love that. So the mission is basically rebellious sentiments in the system been growing of late, is what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like we got to just get down there and squash it.
And I, too, have sensed trouble brewing among the majority of the populations of Kulthis, the third planet of this system. So there's two planets here. There's Kulthis, and there is the other one, which I've already forgotten.
I don't care. I read it last night, and it's already gone.
Belderon.
Yeah. And, he's basically just like, look, we got to nip this in the bud, man.
As soon as the work on Belderon has reached the proper stage, very soon now, gentlemen, you and your forces will sweep across Kulthis and crush the rebellion there once and for all.
What a thing I do like about this, and it's something that Andor gets into, is the idea that, like, you've got to just constantly be on top of the ball if you're going to run an authoritarian government.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the whole premise of the, like, what's the term? That little, like, speech we get that's the repeat of the rebel guy, the manifesto. Why did I blank the word manifesto?
Yeah.
But the whole idea of like tyrannies are fragile because they need like constant attention and constant like oversight.
Yeah. That will, you know, just eventually like you're just going to be weighed down by that and it's going to crumble.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like about this, where it's just like we are just here because there's some rebellion brewing on these planets and we've got to snuff it out.
And this is super important because of some tremors in the Force that Vader and the Emperor have sensed.
I gotta say, though, these generals are pretty fucking stupid because they're just like, yeah, but Vader, come on, man.
Especially this one guy who's just like, look, your faith in that mystic energy field called the Force, or would you imply that, like, come on, what are we doing? Are you just trying to relive the glory days here?
Yeah, and he's just like, shut the fuck up. God damn it. I do like that he calls, I have more important things to concern me than the petty posturing of a little man like yourself.
Yeah, General Andrid is who we're introduced to here as the guy who's questioning Vader. And that goes so well for Imperial officers all the time.
Of course. Right? Yeah. And then he's just like, get out of here, do your work, because Vader's got some stuff to do.
Yeah, we have this guy with the bowl cut who's constantly polishing Vader through this whole sequence over pages. And this is, if it's not clear by now, like there's some Frank Miller art stylings happening here between like little side characters and just the art direction.
They're such frequent collaborators that it's, you know, you can't really separate Miller and Janson. So, you know, it probably is more Klaus Janson stuff that he brought to Frank Miller as we know him, right? Like
that's true. That's fair.
So I mean, because that's the thing is like, he was Miller's colorist on a lot of stuff. So I think a lot of this style we're talking about is Janson specifically, and they did a lot of the Daredevil stuff together.
And
so
the colors here are very early 80s, very recognizable.
Very much so. It's a huge shift from the two we just looked at.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, look at
honestly,
the establishing shot.
Oh, which establishing shot?
On the next page, when we go to this, like, this is very atmospheric in a way we haven't seen. No words at all, just as we move in on this desert city.
Yeah, I mean, this is really good examples of like early 80s comic books breaking the mold in terms of like, because this is 83, like,
Miller's doing Daredevil at this point. I think 81.
Miller's doing Daredevil. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the like magic year where like Watchmen and Dark Knight strikes, or
that's
Dark Knight
87.
Yeah, that's 87. But like the beginnings of all that is here.
Right, absolutely. And so that's the thing. And Janson is the inker on Daredevil at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Miller took over on Daredevil in 79.
So we get on this desert planet and we get introduced to these are our point of view characters that you probably have a problem with, John, which is Flint and Barney, right?
I hate these characters. I hate them so much. And I hate that their names are Flint and Barney to begin with. Flint, maybe. Barney, I don't want a guy named Barney. And then later when they're calling him Bon, all I can hear is saying it like Fred Flintstone. Hey, Bon!
See, I assumed it was a Flintstones pastiche.
I mean, yes, that makes me hate it even more.
But these are our two yokel characters who we're going to be following through the rest of the issue.
Yeah, don't love them. Don't need them.
They are point of views of like the lower rung of this galactic conflict, though, which is kind of why I like it.
I like that in concept. I just think they're way too goofy.
Yeah, maybe, because we get Flint here is our like clean cut kind of fuck up character, and Barney is his like best friend who's just sort of along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. It just feels like they should be talking like, "Hey man, how you doing?" You know.
Barney is sleeping and Flint is rolling in because he's like, hey, there's some new folks just landed and I think they're rebels. Ooh.
Yeah. And so we better, hey, everybody, let's go look at the rebels.
So the whole town is turning out to go look at these new folks that have landed on the outskirts of town. We get a brief bit of Flint's mom being like, don't you think you gotta go to work because, you know, you gotta earn a living? And he's like, I'll get there. Don't worry about it, Mom. Something
Joe Duffy does that kind of irks me in the comic, in her whole run on this thing, is she's definitely upped the comedy. She definitely has a lighter touch, and I think that works in something like Power Man and Iron Fist, but comedy has always been tough in Star Wars.
I think it can work, but yeah.
It can work, but let's say it often doesn't. And here I think she leans a little too sitcom-y in places for me. I think she's better. Weirdly, she's better at writing the characters, like Darth Vader and stuff like that, than a lot of the other people, but she also includes a lot more like business that I don't love.
This is some business where it's like Flint and his mom, and his mom's been like, oh, that boy.
Oh, that son of mine.
But they get out to the crowd at the edge of town, and what's this? A familiar-looking Corellian freighter has landed on the outskirts, and it is Luke and Lando and Chewie and Leia and 3PO and R2.
Yep. And Luke is in a very interesting outfit here.
It's kind of his post A New Hope look with the yellow jacket, but he's got this dark red shirt and like the low slung gun belt.
Yeah, it's an interesting look for him. I don't dislike it. It's an unusual look for him.
Yeah. And that is when Flint notices that Luke is carrying a lightsaber.
Indeed.
And he makes the classic leap in logic that is, he's got a lightsaber. That means he's a Jedi.
Like my father. What?
Sure. So this is going to be a runner through the rest of the issue of Flint being like, my dad was a Jedi. That is everything I aspire to be. And only something truly traumatic will dissuade me of that notion.
Yeah. I mean, I think that part of that also is a little thing, but for how goofy these guys are, I like where the story lands with them, but it's very tragic for like sitcom-y characters.
Yeah.
So anyway, everyone's coming out to talk to them.
Yep.
In town, including an adorable little Moppet.
Man, 80s comic book artists don't know how to draw kids.
No, that is an adult woman's face on a little kid body, and it's creepy. That kid, I think, is supposed to be cute, and instead is terrifying.
Well, because she's supposed to be the one who's admiring Leia, being like, "Oh, she's so pretty and glamorous."
Yeah, because I do like the way that they're like, she's a floozy.
Yeah, but
so she's wearing a vest, like, and they're just like, oh, coming around here, parading around like that.
Leia's in her like post-Hoth outfit with like the white puffy vest and the long black sleeves,
which is kind of my favorite Leia look.
Yeah, it's a good Leia look.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's like, "Hey, what are you doing on Belderone?" And Lando, being the businessman of the bunch, has been like, "Hey, we're here to do some trading."
I mean, they're basically here for the opposite reason as Vader, right? They're here to kind of stoke the rebellion, help these people out. Let's get talking. Let's get you guys part of the alliance.
Right. They don't come out and say that right away, because you don't come out and just say that right away. But that is kind of the mission here. Meanwhile, Flint is coming up and being like, "Hey, man, that's a lightsaber. Are you a Jedi?"
No. Also, I mean, once again, as always, assume our issue of what lightsaber is this.
Yeah.
That's just a running problem through all post-Empire stories for us until we get to Jedi.
Yeah. Anyway, he says, "It was given to me by a friend of my father's."
Which is not a lie.
It's from a certain point of view.
Yeah. And so they's just like, no, my father wasn't a Jedi. He was a navigator on a space freighter. Yeah, that's it.
I do like this like blue and black tone panel of Luke just bold-faced lying about who his dad is, and with the like kind of ghostly outline of Darth Vader here in the bottom of the panel. This is some good mood piece for
I'm wondering
Luke coming to grips with the fact that Vader's his dad.
I am wondering if some of my art issues with especially stuff that we get later is maybe just a time thing, like Jansen didn't have enough time, because there is a lot of this that I like for a lot of the reasons I like the Miller and Jansen stuff like this. Mm-hmm. There is much more mood than we've ever seen really in the comic, which makes sense.
For sure.
But then there's other places where I feel like the lack of detail actually hurts the storytelling later on. But not now.
Because then we get the next logical question, which is like, oh, if you're traders, where are you trading from? And that's when Lando says Kulthus, and that makes the crowd scatter.
Did you say Kulthus?
Because, apparently mentioning Kulthus is not good here on Belderone.
Yeah, well, mentioning Kulthus got an even bigger reaction than we expected. They aren't too popular these days.
Yeah. Barney's like, hey, no one's really in charge here, but everything's run by the Empire just like everywhere else, so maybe keep the Kulthus stuff under your hat.
I do want to talk about the fact that Barney's haircut looks exactly like Obi-Wan's in Episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's just incidental, but yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, though, he's like, hey, man, if you want to come into the village, my mom runs the tavern. You'll be welcome there.
Yeah.
Have fun. I like you guys. One of you may be a Jedi, but he's clearly lying about it. Yeah. So, and wait, is that Flint is the one that's looking at?
Flint is the white guy. Barney's the black guy.
There you go. Barney is looking up at Chewie, going, "This guy's huge."
Yeah, and he gets introduced to Leia and being like, I'm Barney."
I do like that they're going into town, but Lando says, "We're going to leave the droids here," and 3PO saying "thank the maker" for that is very on character. Once again, see, that's the thing where Joe Duffy really getting where the comedy comes out naturally anyway, which is like in 3PO. So anyway, they're coming, they're going into town. And of course, Barney's also like, pretty girl.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Princess Leia, John. Of
Yeah.
course he is.
Hey, he ain't blind. Anyway, so they go into town.
Yep. We got Luke getting introduced to Flint's mom. They get brought to the inn, and Flint's like, oh, well, I gotta go to work. But they never really say what work is.
No.
And that'll be a plot point later.
Yes. So he hops into his sweet ride.
And goes zooming off. Meanwhile, our heroes are getting introduced to moms. And then we have the nosy next door neighbor who is actually an Imperial spy.
This is the woman from Bewitched. Was it Gladys? She's always like, that'd be witchcraft across the street.
So we see her calling that mouthy general from the start of the intro.
She seems to just have his number.
Yeah, she's like, hey, do you hear me? Guess what? Leia Organa and Luke Skywalker are here. You know, the heroes of the book.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Everybody's talking about it.
And he says, oh, good. This will be quite the feather in my cap. No, I don't see any reason to tell Lord Vader about this. This will only go well for me.
Oh, this guy is so stupid. So stupid. Yeah, like the shading on that guy, this looks a lot like this era of Daredevil.
For sure.
Yeah.
But he says, I have other agents on Belderone that will handle this. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, this is where it is. This is a thing that I hit on, and tell me if this is the same for you. He says, so you're telling me there's a black man and a Wookiee. A black man is very interesting to me in Star Wars. I don't think there are people of color throughout Star Wars, but no, they never refer to. I don't think anybody ever says Lando is black in Star Wars.
No, but this is some like the 80s writer stuff.
It is. It's just an interesting thing because then that leads to all kinds of questions like, does that mean Cassian Andor is Latin? And then what is Latin if it's not Earth?
Yeah, don't worry about it, John.
Yeah, I don't know. That
kind of book.
That got me. Just because you're like, if the racial makeup is the same.
Anyway, they're hanging out in the bar.
Yeah.
Flint's trying to work up the courage to talk to Luke. Lando's just be like, hey, we've got all this rebel stuff happening over on Kulthus. We got to figure out what's happening here and maybe stoke some rebellion here. But how can we do that when everyone's like so nervous to talk to us?
Right. Here's a comedy bit I do like, which is that the ale is disgusting and multiple characters experience that.
I do love Lando's look here.
Yeah.
Like, "Bleh."
No, thank you. And then the woman immediately come in and go, more ale, sir? I don't think so. And then later we'll get Chewie trying it as well. But yeah, they're trying to go over there. And of course, Leia's just like, Luke, that guy is obviously working up the courage to come talk to you. He's like,
you've got a fan.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. And Luke's like, I don't want to talk to the kid. And Leia's like, come on, give the kid a break. Everyone needs heroes.
He's going to ask me about my dad, and that's a sore subject for reasons I'm not yet ready to talk about.
We've got some good humor in the background of Chewie trying to chew on a steak.
Yep. There's a lot of goofy Chewie stuff in here.
It's all background stuff, but I think it's fun.
Yeah. I think that's all fine, yeah. And then Lando, of course. So this is Lando, right? That's asking for more ale.
Yeah, I think he's saying my friend here could use some more ale. Luke needs to get drunk enough to talk to these kids.
Right. But
they're interrupted by assassins.
Well, yeah, of course. As you would expect. It's a bunch of guys in weird hats.
Oh, hey, that's a mainstay of Star Wars assassins, is weird hats.
So they just start shooting up the place. There's some goofy face on Leia here when she's diving down from the table.
Yeah, and Luke's jacket is all weirdly colored all of a sudden.
Yeah, this one, I think there's just some corners cut on this. I also don't know what blaster Luke has pulled out here when he's leaping across and shooting.
Yeah, I don't know. His jacket's brown for a couple of pages here. Anyway, they're shooting the guys in hats.
They're killing people, though.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Leia gets one, Luke gets one.
And then let's turn the page and talk about, for sure, this feels very like Frank Miller-y era of this guy shooting himself in the head. is pretty brutal for a Star Wars comic.
Yeah, because Luke and Chewie are about to like grab this guy and capture him, and rather than be taken alive, he shoots himself in the face.
And then the corpse of his body with the big smoking hole and the weird hat.
Yeah, this is Comics Code Authority right out the window.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we're already, look, this is Klaus Janson who's working with Frank Miller, a guy who is constantly breaking that comics code.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the guy, this is the era when you've got that famous cover where Daredevil's got the huge revolver on the,
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Barney and Flint, Barney is like, did you see that? Did you see how he was moving? Holy crap. And Flint is like, that's because it was the Force. He's a Jedi.
Yeah. And also, we just saw a man murder himself in front of us. Anyway.
Well, they didn't see that part.
They only saw the cool stuff.
And Barney's like, and not only is he a Jedi, but didn't you hear what Leia said? They're rebels too? This is awesome.
Nosy neighbor back on the phone.
Hello, General Andred. Do you hear me?
I love the way Vader's written in this comic. We're going to turn the page and get to the only thing that doesn't feel Vader to me is him saying, I understand, thank you, to a stormtrooper.
I like him being polite to a random stormtrooper.
I can't imagine him going, thank you.
I love the idea of him being like extremely well-mannered to stormtroopers, but absolutely rankling every single officer in the Empire.
That is funny to think about. Because he
like,
does.
Trooper, thank you. Oh, very good job, Trooper.
Good
anyway,
stuff.
General, go to hell.
Yeah. The fuck you say, General? Say that to my face. See how it goes. Oh, thank you, Stormtrooper. That's excellent. Thank you for the coffee.
Good work.
Yeah, good stuff, everybody. Good stuff. So anyway, yeah. So he's talking about like, he's like, all right.
The nosy neighbor tried to call General Andred, and then Darth Vader intercepts the message.
Yeah. And of course, this is where Vader's like, the guy's like, oh, well, Andred's like, I knew about that. And Vader's like, and why didn't you tell us? Which, once again, this guy is a moron.
But he says, I had to act quickly. Luke Skywalker was among the rebels here. Had we waited, he might have slipped through our fingers. And classic Vader's just like, dude, I already knew he was there.
I've been aware of his presence from the moment he entered this system. Aware of him through the power of the Force. If there's one thing I want to hear Vader say, it's things like the power of the Force.
You mocked the power of the Force once in my presence. Now, feel what it can do.
This is maybe my second favorite Vader moment, because that moment when he sends the guys out the airlock and that one thing, and it's just like, because it's always like, Lord Vader, I think the airlock opened. Did it now? That's the thing he's done this guy. But this is badass.
Right, because this guy's choking to death in front of him, and then he proposes a toast.
Yeah. To our comrade, the late General Andred. And they're literally pouring drinks over his corpse. That is Vader to the core, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's what I want,
Vader.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And then he's just like, all right, anyway, back to our meeting.
I shall go to Belderone with one of you and supervise the mobilization personally.
Do you think the other when they say one of you, one of the generals is like, not it.
They all go nose goes.
Oh, no. Yeah. Nobody wants to go down there with you. You don't want it to be you and Vader on a mission ever. Okay. This is a little bit where some of my issues with the like shadows, and it takes a second for me to be able to like, all right, who's talking a little bit here? Maybe
so they've been attacked now, so they kind of have to split up. We got to send some people back to the other planet to like mobilize the rebels, because if they're sending assassins, that probably means the Empire's involved. So some people have to stay here to figure out what's happening. Some people have to go back to the rebel planet to go rouse the rebels.
Right. And
because phones don't exist in this universe.
I do like when we punch in though, and you've got like the shadowed. Like, I do really like the idea that there's just a single light coming off of the Falcon that's lighting them. I don't like when it pulls out of the wide and they just become little, like, figures, but I do like Luke looking at Leia totally in shadow. All of this stuff is very cool. It's very not Star Wars, one could argue, but I like it.
It's very moody. It's very indicative of comics. I mean, again, Frank Miller, Klaus Janson stuff of this era is
noir.
Noir.
That's the thing about the lighting scheme of it. High contrast.
I love this last panel because they land on, okay, Chewie and Luke, you got to go back to Kulthus and get the rebels. Lando and Leia will stay here.
Yeah. And that last shot of them just sort of silhouetted in like the purple or the violet of it as the ship takes off, really cool.
Really cool. Yeah, I want that as a poster.
Absolutely. And kind of, at least framing wise, looks a little like the end of Empire.
Totally. Yep.
So anyway, so they watch them go, and then boy, it's our friends Flint and Barney are back, and Lando is quick to pull his gun. Out of the way,
fair.
They're gonna die.
But these two are just like, look, we know you're rebels. We want to help. We want to show you what's going on here. Just come with us.
The fuck you do? I'm gonna shoot this son of a bitch. Anyway, so they go with them.
And they leave to go to some factory out in the middle of the desert. That's underground, specifically.
Okay. Here's the thing I can't figure out. Who is this guy?
What, with the hat?
Yeah.
Don't know. Some guy. Oh, I think it's supposed to be Vader.
Yes.
His head's just drawn weird.
No, it's a mistake, is my point. I was reading this, this is total Vader dialogue, but they have drawn like one of the assassins from earlier. But this is Vader dialogue.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We are needed to supervise them. These few puny rebels can present no real threat to us. Skywalker is not among them.
It's sort of in that like weird hybrid of looking at the art and reading the dialogue that we do as comics readers, where it's because I love when people ask, what do you look at? Do you look at the pictures? Do you read the words? I don't know. You kind of do both at the same time if you read enough comics. But it's like
reading subtitles in a movie.
Exactly. This really threw me though reading. I had to keep going over and going, what am I missing? This sounds like Vader, but it doesn't look like Vader. But it's definitely supposed to be Vader.
Yeah, this is an art. Oopsie.
Yep. But it made it through. Once again, I think they might have been, speeding along too much on this issue.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of telling when we get to the next bit where we have some dialogue from Luke saying, hey, this is Commander Skywalker. All planes, do you copy?
Yeah.
Calling starfighters planes bugs me.
Is really weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
it's
they're about to arrive on Belderone.
And it's about to get cool, folks. Don't worry. Because we're going to turn the page and Klaus Janson has drawn the shit out of these AT-ATs.
Because what's this? There's a giant door that opens up in the ground, and it's the factory that these people have been working in. It turns out is spitting out AT-ATs.
Oh, I love it.
This is a cool-ass page.
Another one, talk about another thing I would love to have this piece of art. Because once again, I love the idea that like they're being lit up from the bottom. Like there are lights coming up at them, so they're shadowed. They look scary as hell.
Oh, yeah. It was something that was so striking from the first season of The Mandalorian when they turned the AT-ST into this, like, big monster. It looked right. These things are terrifying.
Oh, my God. So cool. And the way that everybody here is also lit up the same way when we get turn the page and but they're really selling the, like, I'm looking up at this monster. I mean, it really does have sort of a kaiju vibe to it.
And we learn as like Barney and Flint are like, what the hell are those? And Leia's like, oh, those are Imperial walkers. Those are AT-ATs.
Yeah.
And Barney and Flint figuring out like, that's what we've been building? Because all the people here were just like part of this factory building pieces that would eventually be put together to create these AT-ATs.
Right. Which is also a cool idea. And so everyone run though, because, we're just people.
Huge Imperial walkers.
So everybody takes off into speeders.
They all hop into speeders. They start flying away. Darth Vader is there, wearing his Vader mask, but also wearing a big hat. I guess this is disguised Vader.
That's a weird Vader beat.
Imagine Vader's helmet and then putting a hat on top of it.
Hold on, you guys. I got to put my hat on.
No one will ever recognize me now.
Yeah. Here goes the hat. and incognito.
Nothing about Darth Vader can betray the presence of myself once I wear this big hat.
I just like the idea that everyone talks about so many of my abilities, but they always leave out that I'm a master of disguise. Anyway, I just want to see now different things. Vader's disguise collection, where he's got glasses and he's got a little mustache he can put on it. Mm-hmm. No, I'm Ron. Anyway. Anyway, so the X-Wings are coming in. Now, I will say, I have some questions about some ship designs we're about to see here that don't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the art gets a little sketchy at this point. There's more... It's more impressionistic during these next little action scenes.
And some of that works, some of it doesn't. I want to talk more about just the fact, why are there snow speeders?
Well, it's a dropped line in Empire, but those are just speeders that have to be modified to like operate in cold weather. That's why we call them snow speeders, but they are just a class of ship.
Okay, but we never see them like this, where like the X-Wings are coming in with them from space, and we never really see those things like amongst the fleet in a dogfight, though.
Yeah, because they'll get blown up here.
All right. Answered.
Anyway, Luke's fine, and they're like, hey, we've beat these things before. We can do it again.
I do like the idea that now they know how to do it, so they immediately start with the tow cable attack.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Flint and Barney are thrown out of their speeder.
Yeah, because they get shot at. They don't get shot at. They're just going so fast that he basically jackknifes this thing as he's steering.
I do really like the AT-AT just stepping on the crash speeder.
Yeah, I love a good AT-AT just as kaiju. This page where they're unconscious and this thing is just striding with a trail of fire through the city. That's a cool shot.
Amazing. Like, yeah, most of the city is engulfed in flames. This thing is laying waste to this town. And once again, no dialogue. This feels... It's interesting. It's only a few years between, but it feels like we've jumped a whole generation in comics.
Right. Yeah, totally. We get more of these AT-ATs spilling out. The art is super sketchy here as the ships are flying around. The AT-ATs are crashing and burning and also shooting at each other. What?
You see that here when we go to this close-up of Luke, too. All of a sudden, way less detail on Luke. When if you go back just a few pages, Luke in the cockpit is way more detailed. This is where I'm saying, like, it feels like he's running out of time.
Yeah,
and so the designs are getting simpler here. And I mean, it is double the length, and who knows how much time they gave him on this. But all of a sudden, everyone's faces are getting a little bit more cartoonish.
I will say we never really lose track of what's happening here, because Luke has landed on one of these AT-ATs that has fired on its ally, seemingly, and we get some radio chatter here of what's this? Oh, Lando and Leia have taken over an Imperial Walker. Rad.
Which is awesome. That is awesome. But it does feel like the thing about running out of time is like he doesn't have time to go in and do the fine details. All the layouts are there, but we're getting much simpler. Like, yeah, there you go. That's a face, you know.
Some of these feel like colored thumbnails.
I do really like the image of Luke jumping onto the AT-AT. Just the little figure sailing through the air onto it is really cool.
Yeah. Because Leia and Lando have hijacked one, then Luke leaps over and hijacks another one.
I do like that the guys inside the cockpit of this AT-AT are like, hey, what in the name of... And then there's another guy going, there's some guy out there with a lightsaber. I don't get paid enough to deal with this.
So yeah, Luke just kills them all in the cockpit, leaps in and takes control of this thing.
This is not the same guy who was going pale over killing a demon monster. This is the Luke who's fucking dudes up.
So yeah, they are cleaning up. This next page is just all-out war, destruction. We got walkers blowing up. We got fighters flying through the air, swooping around, bringing down AT-ATs. The other AT-AT they've hijacked is walking back to the factory, blowing that up from the inside. And then we left with this last panel, just everything on fire and just rubble and ruin everywhere.
I do love when our heroes get their hands on an AT-AT, right? Like, that's cool to see the heroes using it, and them destroying other AT-ATs with AT-ATs is very cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the, like, we go from really high up over the shoulder of the carnage to now we're in the middle of it as we cut back to Flint, who's dragging himself out of the rubble.
Yeah.
And that's when these cartoony, like, sitcom-y characters take a tragic turn.
Very much so. Because he thinks his friend is dead.
Yeah, he finds Barney's body laid out in the rubble. Then he starts shifting through the ruins of the bar, and his mom is dead too.
Yeah. I mean, it's nightmarish, and it's something I like, which is, once again, showing the devastation of the Empire, that they are committing atrocities.
But then we have some black boots walking into the panel here as Flint finds his mom, and he's like, we couldn't do anything to help. Why would they let this happen? I swear to you, I'm going to learn. I'm going to find training. I'm going to train the same way my dad did. I'm going to stop this sort of thing from happening anymore.
And so Vader's going to train this guy, or going to put him into training. Vader's not going to train him personally, probably, but...
We don't immediately reveal it's Vader, but a voice from off-panel says, I know how you feel. I had almost forgotten what it was like to feel that way. It has been some time since I heard anyone speak the way you do now. I did not take you seriously before, and I should have. Forgive me. Let me make it up to you now.
Yeah.
I could not single you out for special training right away. You would be just one of our men at first, but I have sensed the power in you. In time, I promise you, you will be tutored specially, and if you really wish it, you will become someone who matters very much.
Let me ask you this, because you've read a little bit ahead. Does anything come of this?
No.
Okay. That's what I figured, because it's comics, and it's an annual, and annuals rarely have any effect on the major overarching story of a comic, for the most part.
For the most part, unless they like connect other annuals, but this is the last annual.
Yeah, usually though they are longer side stories, though, kind of in general. There's a reason we can read through this without ever having to touch on these, as we did. But yeah, it's an interesting beat. I think it's also interesting. It actually works better in some ways, weirdly now, with the context of the prequels of why Vader would recognize himself in this kid.
Yeah, because you see this kid who, at least he thinks he's lost everything to the horrors of war. And it's not necessarily even about one side or the other. It's just that either side would let something like this happen, which is so Anakin's vibe on the Jedi, right? It's why he can be turned. It's just like the Jedi are supposed to be these pillars of good, and yet they still let horrible things happen in the galaxy.
Right. I mean, the idea that like you would, the idea that he would blame the rebellion for this is interesting, right?
Yeah. Well, for all he knows, like the Empire's been here the whole time. It's only when the rebellion
nothing went bad until the rebels came. But of course, that's nearsighted. But it's a cool idea, and that's what I'm saying. It's kind of a bummer that we don't actually. This guy doesn't become like a main character because he's kind of interesting now. But then we have Barney being like, "Yeah, they bandaged me up in a very cartoony fashion."
But also, I'm not done with this fight. I want to join the rebellion.
Yeah. I mean,
because it turns out Barney's alive.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, so we see them each go their separate ways here.
Because Barney has the like more long-sighted view of, you didn't bring trouble to us. It was here from the day the Empire set up that factory.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like I said, I'm by the end of this, I'm actually sad that nothing more comes of these guys.
Because he thinks Flint is dead. And then we cut to a picture of Flint and his mom leaning on the helmet of a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
And we see Flint like pulling his gear out of his locker, looking at this picture of his mom as the stormtroopers are called to duty. And Darth Vader watches as this guy becomes what has destroyed his life and has joined the Empire.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that lands. That really works for me. It's just how goofy they were in the beginning. That I think maybe they were going for that. I don't know. Yeah. But I do like how dark and bleak this ending is. And also the idea that like even this idea about you become something special, but he really is just another cog in the machine, actually.
Sure. Yeah. And like, but him seeing that as the way that he can like make sense of what happened to him. Like it's a very poignant Star Wars-y story. I really liked it.
No, I do like the broad strokes of it. My issues really land more in like a few specific details. But I think in general, it's far and away the best story of the three. The other two are, I mean, the first one I think is a disaster. Really, like as a story, it's complete nonsense almost. Like it's just, and there's so many convoluted, like, wait, what and how, and you weren't. I don't think Claremont had a plan. I think he was literally just writing that moment to moment. And the second one is
Claremont do.
Yeah. Wait, that guy didn't have everything planned out the whole time?
Have you read the Inferno crossover?
Yeah. We did a review of it way back in the day, but the documentary about Claremont's X-Men is really good, and people should check that out. But yeah, I think that, and then the second one is completely inconsequential to anything. I mean, as we talk about, literally, aside from being like a fun one-off with Han Solo, what do Luke and Lando do? Nothing.
They hear a story.
Yeah, they hear a story. This one actually feels like it's based around the themes of Star Wars.
I like this one a lot because it does something that isn't done a ton in books, but what it is, I think it can be incredibly powerful, and that is showing our heroes as heroes in context of the galaxy itself. Seeing other characters respond to them as like, oh, these are the representatives of good and the rebellion in the galaxy, and how sometimes even that perception can be twisted by something like the Empire. And you have this character Flint, who by the end of this story has turned his back on, maybe not even turned his back on, but the ideal of like gaining training and power and becoming more like his father, who was a Jedi, becomes corrupted by the Empire. And that's such a like poignant, powerful piece of Star Wars storytelling.
Yeah, no, I think I think it lands its major moments for sure, and it is an interesting view of how one gets swept up into either side of this war.
Yeah, for sure. All in all, I think all of these annuals, like you say, some are better than others. I think they're very indicative of the evolution of this comic and the evolution of Star Wars storytelling that we see in this time, because by the end of the like 80s, we are in maybe one of the most fallow periods of Star Wars that exists.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the era we grew up in, of course, eventually. I mean, we're in the early 90s, but yeah, we're about to it's about to go real quiet post Jedi.
Yeah. There's an interesting thought to be had about like in like 89, 90, people being like, oh, Star Wars, yeah, that was a thing once.
It was these movies that everybody likes that are still part of the pop culture conversation, but they're over. It's a closed loop, right? Like it's just like Star Wars. It's that trilogy we all refer back to. But nobody in the or at least say general public, I don't think in the late 80s, early 90s were like, when are they making a new Star Wars?
Right. And there were always rumblings, and there were always the people in like Starlog magazine being like, oh, maybe one day. But that was not the zeitgeist. That was the fringe.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember everything. I remember thinking like, oh, Lucas said, like, even when we were growing up, Lucas was like, oh, maybe I'll go back and do the prequels. And I just remember being like, oh, it'd be cool if he did that. But, it didn't. I wasn't sitting there going, when?
Here's $10 billion. Go see a Clone Wars.
Yeah. There you go. Well, of course, if you want to check out more from us, and why wouldn't you? Although this week was jam-packed with fun.
We ran super long because, of course, this was the king size of all king size annuals. We were covering 3 double-sized issues.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll be back to our normal length and stuff. This is a specialty episode for our 100th celebration. But of course, you can check out even more from us on our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup, that's punchupent. Get cool exclusive bonus content as well. Support all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. If you're going, where else can people check us out?
YouTube. If you haven't been with us, this is going to be a long YouTube video because we showed off all 3 of those issues we're talking about. You can see all the cool / weird art we've been talking about joining us on YouTube, and our beautiful faces, because why wouldn't you want to look at this?
Of course.
It's like grimace and wink.
Yeah. You just lost our subscribers.
Our numbers are dropping precipitously since God winked.
It's right there. Don't ever do that again.
But while you're there, you can enjoy all of our shows. Some of them have video content. Some of them are just a good second screen experience to have while you're playing Balatro or something. Anyway, While you're there, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know in the comments below, what should we do for our 200th episode? I'm racking my brain. We got to start thinking now, John.
Yeah, we do.
But for all of those of you who have been with us for these 100 episodes, thank you so much for joining us on this journey through something John and I both love deeply, and that is both comic books and Star Wars, and the union betwixt they make for us.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's always interesting.
It's always interesting because this is not only like a view of Star Wars and the evolution of how we tell Star Wars stories, but comic books and the wonderful hybrid medium that they create that you and I love so much. And to have done this for 100 episodes is amazing and great. Can't wait to see what comes next for the show.
Indeed. But I think it's going to do it.
That is, in fact, going to do it. And as always, I have been Mike Gargoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.